world, Supersonics Money Transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonics Money Transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonics Money Transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics.
Vitamid, so if you naked father, being a father here too, you have to play the role of a mom. A family in America is not easy.
I liggéey full time si Sayus production bi di liggéey full time si suma job bi di liggéey full time si suma kër.
You know, be pare liggéey bi fii léegi-léeg da nga liggéey 16 hours. You wake up 4:30 in the morning. Njël nga jóg doo dellu si sa kër ba midnight. Just do it, Hamwa. You know, take action right now. Don't wait until tomorrow. You know, if you have the idea, you have the mindset, just do it. FIMOM is a country of, it's a land of opportunity, they call it. And the other thing is, it's a land of abundance.
The best advice I can give somebody is really to understand what that other culture might be like. Get to know where somebody is from, what they've experienced to get where they are today.
I'm a proud Gambian.
Sayus. Morso bi nak dan koy may ulay ak Sayus.
Ben dalilo
o wi han dalila ben mede to
e fulo me yalon ko mba itandila mollal
ko hunde nde ganduɗa enne faala hollu
bari na aado mumenti
wisin hoɗum woni aada men
ɓe folola walla
nde wonɗo ko en julta ko ɗum gadorte
ka ɗum ɓentaɗa oɗa
wi sabi kala ɗo kawruɗen
ka ala dani duwalale
eɗen mbowi torade Allah duwaw
ɓawanna keɓaɓe jan jaabi
nde wonɗo mawɗo makko yiɗo mo ganduɗa ko kañum woni alaji ɓe mbaɗa jaabi
a fana bota taybatude
ko taybatu naajo
aɓe molsula duwala
moye wawi hokkude yimɓe duwaw
e jaabi
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من الذي يشفع إلا بيده يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع السماوات والأرض ولا يحيطون وهو العلي العظيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الذي ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يواجه الناس من الجنة والنار سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون السلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين
jaabi nimba
alaji ɓe mbande ngoyi banka jarama
e programme o fula ñam ɓe ɓen kilila
mo wi joni programme timmo ko arta noddu
e mbe na pasediati welle fon kilila
mo wi ko jaade ɗiɗo ɓeɗo base ɗo taw arta noddu
kaadu lunta itala jawɗa koye mo soto men ɓe jiyala
wi sabi koɗo si kala ɗo jaaɗa ko ma keɓa jaade
wonga waɗi jumalla
wi ɗum ko hombo okkete ɗum
na base alkalo
ko jarga base o
honorable Selluba
honorable Selluba
ɓura o lentawan bisimilla
on arta bismade hoɗɗone ɗo leydi makko Yang kami ko adi ko omoli ma Allah hinulaɗo
for we are Bela Jadima, Memo Wolodi.
We David Macedo, you are we Governor Salmini Batao.
We are Bela Jadoti, and if I'm down, another at the Mutatu.
We know you are a Kayoni Yatido Yip, the Kalapoto Gampo, Kaliko Kanko, and the Yatido Yip.
So can you bring about the photo?
We see on Yaudi and Safe Fuji before Sabini. We lady Yarga the fourth and Ganda made the lady or Sabini for. Can you make John Ada Yende? Yes, on the railway. Salmini fourth. We chat that room. We Koloma Komaudo. Kowali Kauri and Doko. Kodumoni Alahaji Ebrima Sillah. Can you make Karabe Imodi Banyu Ariko? A ministry Mudu of Foley Godi Mudube.
And media that the Mona you are.
We can use a video we want to know the Foxy Madundo made a heavy you are. We never know what we can go to Ebrima Sillah minister. He qualified and operated.
And ministry Bunda.
We didn't do ministry Mudumo.
We
development at the lady Pasado.
Ministry of Works.
We can ministry for Maple Legal. We come in the jet to map a man of bed. We sabi Tantare Congatado. We kill us Gambia Heti Hore Mudu. You are we the Sifadundo made a heaven. We allow Kowadi. We adore President Mojo. We come meet your Mudu Mojo Kajime have the Anya Mojo their lady Lido.
You are the Metabaraba.
And then you are our lady Basen Boy Tampi.
But you know about that,
we should on Calabay Petampuno.
among the president or Melzi.
When I want to take president, he don't know the
And you are with more Lamon.
We entered the lady Basedo.
But you have to be.
See a larian.
The down the Namasunda Wago.
And they sat out a lamudum.
Like you are Diplo Day. You can so Belamara.
Si andare a tutte passe si ai palasuji per marno
Don't get up, Vice President.
got only by president,
Minister of Finance,
got only Marco Jaudini,
Minister of Works,
Marco Golele,
Health,
medical,
Water Resources,
Niamdam,
Forestry,
Latene,
Education,
education, Yandere,
Economic Planning,
can you have full economic mark to Ferry?
on 20 days, we are go Jawari, I will from Mori.
I only allow them for Anyani.
But in a Digol Pango, Nagola Digolema, Markium, you don't get Dokuja.
We, the Madano Ferry, allow for the Ligino on what?
I don't need to learn at home.
Si tayo ni Bongari and how to only get out.
Okay, I have another.
Yaya Ali,
And then you need to more bridge now.
we all Christian Moido.
I am Mujama Father. Mujama Father.
Have my law.
Oh, yeah, Yami Olong.
We Yaya Anidu.
I do Mana, Angola Dimoleta.
If people go to Mana, pick up you.
I say, Works Minister.
What did you mark a full goal at the honor order?
I could do Diana,
Of Kidum Kalis,
Nibri Dogo,
your Okol Okri,
Amado,
Bokolanimo.
Adorona,
We Adam Ali,
Bing Nadi,
we Senaria,
Bing Nadi.
and for a Rundo Bunda. Kandangal. Minister of Works. Bunda. Marco Pule Golade. Health. Medical. Agriculture. Demangal. Dauda Bunda. Nenga Kamanse Roje. And then for you, Minister. Bismillah. Bismillah, madam. Ninadela Bamboka. Ari lady, madam. And now they put on the school today. We are the best course now, the lady Pika. Parisi Jampanamuta from Ilawula. We see for Nangira on a Kodo in West Coast. But in the end on them, we shall be Andi. We the Ande Hadum Andi. Babule Bismillah. We even Bismillah. Alama. Alay Tanta. Yo Allah dandu mato ministry mato alama ala tanta de yo Allah dandu mato adu bi o mo mesi la jak wi de heli ma be jodi belode ni ndum na yuara la nyato ko dia wi ko bengo ni yeso be lendi passe to ni fanan doate wi si bene no ani mama wala be na fala de wi ya heba na famu bismillah wa salam bismillah wi ko ha
Mega akala la kumo moyola.
Maudo bilo wi ne foi nani hala jaga.
Bari jandimbe tente nakata kono.
Wi siko do he konti de yewtere de.
Ko ga fere ke don moli tan di nyola jam.
Wi wani yimbe be ganduda be hollita wonde lawo
Especially na family ala ko wolle ko ta banjor kana.
Surtout yimbe be ganduda ko be jindi banjur be kani
to mol meli ala ko wollo jaati to mel be siri ko ala jumaati.
Wi he jaati jibe be kadi ko ma kolli den be ne hobo woni hobo.
Foro men foro itandi la jam.
Wi foro mo atto holli.
E nga moyle wato ani ka ko National Roads Authority.
Wi wakko ko wede nana ko wiide National Road Authority.
Ale ni sirol men beje men ka dugu Gambia jam.
Ilaaji ji kala golle keedi do.
Ade keno lay tel la kunna me da kiji.
Wawata wonde ka yeso to moyo ala.
Men be nyaadon ka yaade.
Kedo dum yeso.
Ka fole Mamadou Senghor wala be siri nyaa.
O da wiide Mamadou Senghor wi do wani ko
na ko daje
bisi kay don yawtiya
na deputy permanent secretary fana men boda works bunda la fana be fe janne
o wi de deputy permanent secretary ko likordu wi de ko kulle mar bolle de
wala ndami alfa le ko men boda banju ko
na ye mawbe arde do yo kana de be
wala fana tele siri dia
on woni o do ko dala ko bano
Ibrima Koli
o Ibrima Koli
ala nga bulo dia
o yo ke dum
na tambi wala
do yawtiya
meme yitandila
wa be hollirde
jaati yolen
ko jaatigi
bari na dokula fanan
wi ko kolla no
na alfa fanan nem na alfa le fanan
wi ko mawdo men kelifa
bari mel nata
wi kayno de
aside no dol yaalu ne dol ma
sabi wonno arbe be wonbe ngandi be nganda
ka ko me honorable Samba Ba na regional governor
wi ko on woni honorable Samba Ba regional governor
o boni ko raji
don yawtiya
meme labandi la yitandila jam
o sabbi do en hollude
e wono na alfa bali found
wi ko du woni kelifa do meden
honorable Ebrima Sillah minister of works
Ebrima Sillah
na ko daje ngamen soro ka no programme ni ko
wi si don yawti an ko hebi do e programme
me ngame kilila
mo arta hol nokkude o
wolon fawla alfati
wi ko dum woni mawbe
amen tadi jan science
mo holli do jodi
ka me honorable Samba Ba
go woni honorable Samba Ba go falo
comfortable meaning alpha basis merci okay alhamdulillah rabbil alamin alhamdulillah rabbil alamin alhamdulillah rabbil alamin
ko bano wi ko adi ko yetti Allah inula dum
be kay gonna alpha ba na minister of works
wi ko adi ko minister meden marko kulle golle de o
honorable Ebrima Sillah
honorable Ebrima Sillah
the MD bimu National Road Authority
wi neddo mo ganda ko on woni marko kulle golle de
Mr. Senghor
hono Mr. Senghor
na defanam konto back
wi o salmini on kadi no be
deputy PS
hono deputy permanent secretary
koli konto ngole
ko yete koli
defanam nga konto back
o salmini mo no be
media minul ben nyato bi
media onon wonbe do yeso amete
defanam lunta ngolleti
onon ne ko on hobbeje
al nata jande ngal konto back
onon ne ngari do ko hobbe mum mo salmini on no be
Allah simfa ale menta nga appreciate ba
wi hono ko taabi don teppe mon ngardo do ko salmini on suwe tani mo
na sefol menul bijang
sefuji mum di gondi di do
wulli is bijanne sefo
Ibrima Soli dwa wulli iskido
kantora bijanne
bakkio sise kantora ido
wulli west fanam bijanne
wulli west kawa Mamadou ido
fladu is fanam
leydi passé hamme mente ido
na keba alaji hamme minte pour baler fanam bija
wi ko mawdo mudum alaji hamme mente boydo leydi passé woni jati ki darbe do kadi
alkalol menu di alon ko wolle boda nyakoy
al jalkaji gardi minni do be dawa
menu boda fuladu
imi be leydi passé
menu boda kantora
imi be kantora
ani wulli
e wulli
ngebe konton
salmini fof
work la staff wol menu ni minister na ngebe konton
marbe kulle golle de be ligotobe mon be fo salmini
being content to bakel
wi kam de welti ma hande no fet
bawo ne minister jia
sa jippini minister
abota kombo
ko kombo immori
ayala office o soron
uddi office mudum
aka kana banku ta molla
wi ara yillade leydi
aya je dokol menul be kekan
ha iya golle fado jede no fatta
dokol menul fanam pareta ila Kenya be nyaadi le say
wi golle parte de feren hono de malori
ayena anim molsi kacha
ara yewtida e jombe
ye fudo men fanan soto ya firi molye
sawdu be taminu be firtan be kolladu yimbe
oto waya itandire ko
wi nden mi holli
na banko nyaton ko his excellency president Adama Barrow
wi nden yesojo meden leydi ni Adama Barrow
doko le yaate sula
kayum de ko golle faala
andon nadia to dawda ako doko
nden kala do haalta bidi ko wiita ko golle
oto ay minister menul tombon fanan
de wi minister ji di hocci kadi
oto wol fanan yewo simfale ta o doko kilo
ben ha joni kayne ko den golle gote be
oto honorable me yalon ko ya appointne amamme
wi hono minister jeptaɗo ɓooyaani
ameda minister yalale
o yi noon e ministre ya
bari ya bondi o ministre to ya samba ministre
ministaɗo
to
on ministre wonno to
woto mba congratulate la
wi ha joni ko wiya an congratulation
andun to be wo appointment o ANC wole
ndenon ɗon ɗo ƴeftoɗa ɗo weli yimɓe ɓe fof
bawo abenun daben ay doko min ke je molbe gambia be yaje
sabi to gonɗoɗa to heede kibaruji to yimɓe a bonni toon no
ande
fete
nin do fanan to man don latale ko 100% doko nyin fanan be kelal
wi ɗamini ɗo ɗo gonɗa ɗo ha e felliti heede 100% wi wonde a gollat ɗum
you are on call
leydi base naaɓe
minister fele
ministre ngoni
anata doko walla
ko golle nde ari
anata menna
o arani
ate fama be fudo nyin firinnale
kañum on arta haalana en sawdundu tamin
bari nyantalo nar ko ay fema fe men fo mole jango mu development ol
kono en poti andu kala ko haalani en ɗo ɗum ɗon de ko ɓamtare men
wo ma tol fangola development ol
te noon ko yaadu meɗen yeeso
anin dokol menul fanan ikete jang ike mendino nyamen pour molse muna fala
wi golleji ɗi ngannduɗaa ɗi ɗo mbaɗano ene yimɓe ɗi naftora
bawo nga jele ko ibin alaskedulo kana hani marché fanga bita jere
ɓay hey sen mbiwi ɗo to aytinari muɗum to ay to marché to e foti yaade
bawo ministry of works le o marché lo an ngalon ne yalo nyame
ko ministry han mo mari o woni golluɗen marché
ñin birijol ɗin salol ɗin silol men bebe foka ministry of works le ye lo jang andu ngalon yalo nyaadil
birjiji ɗi kañum e marché ɗe ko golla ko fo yimɓe ngandi no gollira
woto nie fello appareta
wi siɗa ya golli hunde a pari
womu kurete wajibolen pour yena ya jibe abe alhaalo men
ko wajibe maɗa foti yaade ndaaroya hono ɗum waalo
bari honorable minister mbaytanilera ko
wi siko honorable ministre iba holla
hani kunum fango mba fokan na diamol to ninna minister of local governments and
hay
lands
hakkin mo ganduɗa ko on woni ministre Abba Sadian haali ɗum e nder ministre mitin makko
mba fokan yuara kolle ko
wi holli URR naaɓe
masakunda ñin dokol menul ke yuara
wi hono laamu o ko golli e leydi basse
yuara le tam
leydi basse ɗe jiino
yuara le fanam be muna fangala
wi nde noon ko leydi basse naaɓe naftorta
woto yuara kolle ñanta kela pour ka kanta
wi nde noon ko leydi basse naaɓe poti wadde feere
pour ka je ko ay me mo bul
ɗum ayne beela ɗum ɓooya e juuɗe men
bawo hani silo ñin niya jibe
wi hay laawol ngol si a laariya
ñin sign botol menul be silo kan
wi hono ni tablaji ɗi ɓe mbaɗi e dow laawol
dol fangola molle bida e be tiñaka
wi ko yimɓeje meɗen jaata e ɗi gonga ɗon ko goonga
andu say niwo ketan ngana tukum fanan se bulo chodi mansa kundara nga foko mansa kundara doko
yen wona yi ko laamu ngu watta wona e ɗum no ɗum yattirte
woto
sefuji ɗi giɗo jargaji ɗi giɗo
dolle marta ngay ko janna
wi ko enen goni han yeesoɓe kay
mansa kunda ye tolle marandi janna
laamu ɗum de ko waawi tan ƴefta ga halfina on onon yeesoɓe
woton kana si nga foko ɓe ministre patla pour ayna kañin doko ke mole o ka dol jibe mole
ko laamu ngu e ministre ji ɗi patten ɓe ɓe ngara ɓe mbaɗana ko foti ga waɗede
andu fana niya jibe dula o dula
denon sen daari a dula fof dulati
ni silol dada
si tawi woni laawol gollama
ni birijol dada
biriji gollama ɗon
fo muna fango se soto me yalon ko wala se o birijol dada wala se o birijol kay ko kay ke maintenance ni tiñata
denon ko hunde foti jeftede wade si tawi woni hen yakkanto waɗi e kulle ɗum fewne
bari na ministre bina o fannal
wi siko wonno waya koɗo ara jantoɗo
bari ministre fela natalen contanta
wi sikon ɓay Allah addi ministre o weltima
bari dol fananda kolya ku dol bije laftore ka fo ministre
kono enne heɗen jogui gay caɗele ɗi faala haalana ɗum ministre
andu goɗum NRA fama bijanne andu ni NRA ɓe dow ko ke kan o fannal
wi Allah waɗi ngol sengo NRA hiɗo ɓen ɓe mbaɗatere ɓe jewgal ngol sengo
na jang sobtuman ɗo accident ol ka siya bakede
wiite enen gaay gonga accident ji ka mawnano ɓen
ware woton ɓe daniro kela pour speed homsol ye low dulal to
wi ɓe faala ha hunde ko ganduɗa no dogdu ndu no mawni kadi ko watta ha ɗum usto ɗi faala ɗum waɗe hen yaade
andum base fatoto koyna road
wi immade Johnson Mansa Janko yahandema ha fatoto koyna
ni yafi jiɓe fana wo speed bombsol ye menul ke je fana womu plastique olti andu dolla jang kandiyaɓe ñaamen jang ani motol ka ɓori ñaamen jang ata mutanoon
sen daari an hono ɗin ko wayno civil police ko ɓe waɗi hen ɗin pooreji gaaji wuli motoji ɗi ndogano fede ɗum ɗum wawa ɗum nangude wol
fe on startale ka tiña on laftale pour ye concrete speed homsol ke mooli e me yaalon ko dewol bi durable eɓe tarla jeela e me
il faala hen heɗi lelino fof goɗɗum waɗde hen ko ganduɗa ko waɗno beton defaɗo ɗum waɗe hen ɗum ɓurata wawde ɓoyde ɗiɗa
yo ministre fanan fele ko wallama mba dalladde munela
wi ministre ay ɗo haala mum sakket ko toroto ɗum
wolem ko ñaajuɓe Masakunda bundal ɓe dow ko labbase dia
wi liggotoɓe laamu yeesoɓe fof i liggoɗoɓe leydi Masel
bari ñaajiɓe jamaɓe je i ñantatarla na office ole koto bari mantara na office o koto dia
wi ima andina wonde hewɓe ɓe faranoɓe kono wonde leymu kono ɓe gonani leymu ɗum de woɓɓe
bari ni jamfaño fanan keɗa ikajele ko pour que moyto aka koleyale
wi sigo titi woɗɗodiral waɗi hen jomma faalete wadde feere kumpitoɗa woɓɓe ɓe kono a wawata
bari nga moyle ko ale commandant o kota sol nin office o kere wanne andu mba dalla andu ngaɗon ne aba kelale pour ka governance office fanan lo jamma fangoɗa mais yalon ko asi dow kulal dol fanan natno asi house wol
wi i faalete no mbaɗɗon hono kerwani no mbaɗɗon feere ha gollon ɗo governance office ha jiya wonde joɓe ɗonne ɗum walle yimɓe ɓe
ala en dol mako elen dolla governance office jang anin ala resident o gay kenoɓe janne mais yalon ko asi lonoɗa men
no Allah watta fof hande governance office ɗo keneɗi ɗo ko ganduɗa ɗum ɗo wawi wonde
woto ñinnen kuuɗolde mais yalon ko laftale kayitande num
wi ko ɗum woni hunde nde ganduɗa nde foti hollude
oto mba tentula mba jayla
o yettima o manima
ngalol no ko ñin kumor ngam men fo dia
wi hono ɗum ko haali ɗo ko
maybe a manque o beŋoti
wi wona ɗum on miɗin
bari laftare donc capitalize that opportunity ndefananna probléme ɗi gon so fayi woto mba tentula mba jayla mba furay ko mba wisla ay tara yuwar ar kayra kono ay muru banjul kayra kono
torimama mbeɗa gona ɗo e dow jam duttoɗa combo e dow jam
andon ala haman ko ka ministry samba ñaato ka banque samba ñaato ala sa mako e fayi so ma fa
hamɓe keɓɗa wonten aɗa faala ministre maɗa o yaha yeeso itoro Allah yo Allah ima walla ɗum ɗon tawtuma beele mo wawa yaade
andum mba itandirare ko ni ministre men tambita no jeeyi ɓe no jeeyi ni e dow ko ke ñaamen naɓe dow ko kelañene men tambita o
wi ɗamini ɗiɗinne hono ɓe tawtuɗa ɗon ɓe no waɗɗannoɓe ɗe no golliɗannoɓe ha ɓe ɗum wawi yettade yetti ɗo toro Allah beela onone mbawa ɗum waɗ
andu nayi kibaɗe o kibaɗe soto ko URR andu a laftale ay ke sayin sayin nayi commande ɗo mba lahidla ɗo ko aɓe kela sayin sayin neni ala
wi hokkima lahiɗi si tawi ko jam si a heeɓi kala kibaru faalaɗa si tawi woni a yettani ɗum de tawi ko jam waɗa ɗum no faalireɗa ni
oto mba fulale ko assalamu aleykum wa rahmatullahi taala wa barakatu
Comment c'est des andaniñata
haala ka ka laaɓi
Honorable, it's very abnormal for me to leave you and sitting down. It's very abnormal. As definitely happy. So, yes. Only with me and the material. Yes. Menda governor kontona.
sefo wi o salmini governor
Atelo on lunta on jatiti.
ko kañum woni ɗo jaatigi hoɓɓe ɓe
Ba kontona ba tentula ba.
o yettima o manima kadi
Mbedun tan kanam kontona.
wi hoɓɓe jeyanɓe ɓe kadi o salminiɓe
Ministre la wol fran nanya ton kodi.
wi mo ganduɗa ko ministre heeɗi ɓen hoɓɓe yeeso
Anin tel be.
wi kañum e kala ko ari ɗo
Mba faram kontona ba.
wi salmini fof
Ana nyol be.
wi kañum e kala ɓe anda
Be konton.
wi salmini fof
Chef nyol men biya.
wi chef uji ɗi woni ɗo liggodiɓe muɗum
Be kontona.
wi salminiɓe
Na chef nyaton ko.
yeesojo chef uji ɗi o
Kantoran ko la chef o.
ɗum woni chef kantora o
Mba faram governor e ko.
mo wiya gobano an
Aya fala tabirla ni tariya.
mbiya yo defoɓe ɓe jayno
nyote kandora ko le se mo de sa
sihina ɗum an sefu kandora hotata
mbe mo be konton be alkalo be konton
salmini kala jargaji ko ari ɗo kadi
momom bijam ba be konton
neɗɗo fof gonɗo ɗo salmini
na basi alkalo diamda
wi jarga pase o haali
ay memfo
ko haali ko
wolo mo kering
wi ko ɗum woni ko woodi
ni ñom mitimo nene man soto jang
kono o miɗi nde meeɗa ɗo heɓ
kabirin jawara tilo
e gila e laamu jawara
fobi
ha hande
annono man soto
meeɗa heɓ
na ministre of local government
ministre mo ganduɗa kon mari kulle laamuji to sokkiɗi e kay chef uji ɗi fof
wala folo nata
ko waɗi arde ambassade
silala min nene man soto ko denke
wi sifa ɗum ɗon meeɗa heɓade
kabirin jawara tilo
e gila e laamu jawara
fo yaya
ha ɗo yaya
fobi
ha hande
ñim fanan felanata bi
wi o jii oɗo ne ari hanki hande ɗiɗo
afana wo ñongole ke
wi ha joni on ne waɗi sifa ɗum
min nene man soto gambia
ko kala ko meeɗa heɓade e gambia
kabiri ko gambia e gambia
gila wiya gambia ko gambia
ni ñong ni to ma soto jang
sifa ɗiɗo ɗi wawi wide ɗum meeɗa heɓade
mbe ministre tentula
wi o yetti ministre
mbe président o tentula
salmini président o
ananaño be
wi kañum kala ɓe arde
ministre be tentula bake
wi ministre o salminima no fete
ye président wala yamarole sindi teng
wi a yettiniɗo yamirore président o
ko kola
wi caggal ɗuman
mr ministre
ministre
ale do ko men kiñe janto
wi golle moƴƴe ko mbaɗɗon ɗo ko
ngajele
ɓe jii ɗum
adu ngalongal yele fanan
ɓe gandani on ɗum kadi
ntella banko kan jam
minen leydi amen ndi ɗo
ntella banko kan jam
kañum leydi mum fuladu ɗo
karaɗo bije
sengo woto i toon
silatiye
toon ala laaɓi
kabo sabi
immade sabi
sare pirasu
ya sare pirasu
fas bajon
en
baniko
banikoji ɗi
baniko
banikoji ɗi
baniko
baniko
sabu sire
sabu sirey
silatije
laabi ngala toon ko gonga ali bulo
isu wolon
gandira noon ina tokko
wo kola
wi caggal ɗuman
ntel sefol
kayen sefuji ɗi
ngaje kafo ko
kayen ɓe jii wonde
alen dankunne
on notima min
alen danku alen lonne
on gandaniɓe kadi
ete menke bi
wi
yeme ko o waɗi han ko
ko mbaɗɗon hannde ko
ministre fanamɓe silo men kam ministre of local government
wi ministre mo ganduɗa ko kañum woni ministre moyɗo
chef ɓe yim banko kam
chef gonɗo e ɗi leydi
a futatama
yettanima ɗum
wo muntele ko buña balete
wi ɗon kayne ɗum wonaniɓe faaro mango
wo muntele buña balete
wi ɗum wonaniɓe buuña e teddugal mangam
aɗum mba tentula mbani mbarla o kam
awa nder ɗum o yettimo o manimo kadi
anin président fon
wi ɗum e président o jaati
katum niyajal ɓe yimɓe kela
si a yi oɗon ɗum mbaɗa
anin président ne ka kacca
ko oɗon jewtina e président
atele ka silo di allah
oɗon kata o laaɓi
aliyake
mbaɗon ɗum
so ku kende o ku kende keta
kala golle moƴƴe golle mbaɗa
mbatel ministre ni président ni jayira
oɗon ministre aji ɗi o yettata ko oɗon o manata
ntel chefol
kayen chef uji ɗi de
ɓe jang
ɓeyɗo
mbatel le jang
ɓeyɗo gonani allah ɓeyɗo gonani
naale men fo
kala ko mbiɗon
ɓe wole kela
ko ɗum ɓe mbaɗata
katu ngalo aɓe men fo ka alɓe men fo lanteliye
sabi ɓe gandi ko kalton ko
banko mo walla nafaalom
wi ɗum de ko nafa leydi
adun tel fana ɓe siri wole kam
nde noon kayne koye ɗum ɓe jooɗi
lafta wole fananna
ko ɗum ɓe paala kadi
ɓe ministre conton na kende
ministre o salminima no bete no
ɓe
bete
conton na baake baake
yo salminima no bete no bete
silla kundankolo wiyetedi
wi ko a yette sillanajo kono
ete mum na morolde
ha wi ko a ceernon kono an ko a maccuɗo am
mbe tentula mbeni
o
mbarla
salminima o yettima o mani
naltatal si président conton
wi jottinaɗonɓe président salamu o e
ala yafa ala bisilo men kam
mbiyonɓe laawol gonɗon ngol
sila kuma baalo
ko laawol moƴƴol
a ñomman soto gambe jam
wi sifa mum meeɗa heɓade
ntelu kabiri ppp
wi gila e laamu jawara
kabiri ppp folota
gila e laamu jawara fuɗɗi
fa danta
ha haaɗi
mbije
wi toon
ntemu executive committee of ppp youth men nacce assistant treasurality
wi kañum mi anda ko ɗo region ɗo walla ko national wi kono national committee he executive committee ha woni tresola
ntelom assistant treasurality
kañum woni assistant tresola
fo ppp banta fan
ha laamu jawara huuɓi
mbije
i toon
men mbije mbaf ngalon
kala ko wonɗo heni andi
nal kalo diyamata jam
wi jarga mum o haali
na passé kuo
wi ko woni ɗo base
na manke adamati
wi sila ina adama
basen kawo basen kan nene man tari ñaato
wi basenajo ay goto meeɗa woni yeeso
adama e men ke yake
wi hono ko adama ko jom ko waɗi ɗo ko jom waɗa
ni salolu
wi ɗi piriki
jawara yafone
jawara haalno ɗi
amake
waɗani
yaya yafo
yaya haali
amanke
waɗani
adama nata
wi adama haali
sanji kili
e hitande wotere
fula
ɗiɗi
ay ni birjol bededa
wi ɗi goɓɓirji mbaɗama
afota
wi haalama
amanke
waɗani
Bara tinata drone sanji kilin sanji fula ya be ya ni shiro fara bodi janga gama koina.
Wi sikono haali tan don he ko haali dum ko tan itti do lawla do ha ko.
Ni silo manke passé banko mo drone silati.
Wi ngol wona lawol leydi paseta.
Gambia belom.
Wi ko Gambia mo ya duna fof. Dewdo re fof ko en tiya.
Ani banko nyol men be shir wala be ka tabbi janne.
Ben fof ko don dewat.
Do atadula mbani barla wora ba.
Ima o mali ko.
Ayna marché o fanandara.
Wi o wadi marché o tili.
Mbate dulo fananda mbani barla ba.
Mali dum tili no bete no bete.
Mr. Minister.
Mr. Minister.
Ini mbara.
Ajarama.
Awa me mela nyina.
Amin.
Momo yenyi ke sinin.
Wi kala patto dum ko dengadi.
Ini Minister of Local Government.
Rumi al Minister Abasanya.
Mbal tentula.
Yettima.
Mbal limbar la ba.
O mani on jarni.
Governor.
Wi governor.
Mr. Minister.
Mr. Minister.
Na governor ni mu hadje ma balet.
Wi governor de ko karsikat.
Nin ko keda katele tarim de la basi jang.
Wi dum do dum wadi ko minen dum tawi.
So ma fanan tentula mbal limbar la ba.
Wi kamne o yettimbo o mani bon.
Alsal hakelu tuwato.
Wi ngatite bo hakkille.
Sallallahu Muhammad.
Sallallahu. O wi jone de may kontinde.
Den de nga sey bola dia mo moy de.
Enen foy tani jaati go ko haali do.
Ay même pas be do le nyama.
Kala ko haali do ko non ko moy.
Nyindo ko sey fi ala fanala.
Wi hono de golle to
ko na ma ko men be kala nyame te da fono la nyanta mo ne kala.
Wi kala mo biani hen koni koni wade hay ko do bidan koni.
Bari na wonre mo go bano fana ki jama kan.
Wi kono non ko bano ni dum nuli e yimbe de kan.
So fana futandi no mol.
Wi dum ne hala do yimbe.
Ako honre mo minister be dani la yam fola.
Wi folo minister moy man toro yafi.
Ka do minister of local government fana bi janni.
Wi yo on gandu minister goddo kadi do gondo do kila ci.
Wol fana nyanta tala do gu dolle kala.
Wi bende be poti wade de golle goddo.
La na tel do asay pour jël nga tara jam.
Ko dum adi ha wi joni yo on do won.
So be mol be dani la yam fola nyanta tar la janne fo meeting yebba.
Wi do fodo wonde ha golle de do meeting no buba.
Bari wato ma di no ala.
Isi ko kala waktu wakani.
Say na bo day woto.
Isi do yawti ya.
Be diamula ko to men kilila.
Goddo kalo bo notata.
Wala ya ko niko no passé administrative region.
Wi sita wiya ma ko leydi passé do ndi so region o.
E governor fon la office be dane.
Wi office governor o do woni do.
Ane administrative office jamal le bijam.
Wi ko liggodo be laamu hewbe ngoni do leydi.
Imanyo le jatil.
Wi ko ben ngoni jaati gi.
Wala man sa janti.
Wi ko ben ngoni jaati gi.
Man sa jam fana na alkalo bijan.
Jaaka man sa jankadi do.
Si bunyani or mo sayni no ama.
One wa okede
Na fana
bedunga.
na fana kili ay kuma so da be men fula jamaay.
Samne o hala ko hala hay seda mi
Product tabal yo.
Dilo. Salmini sefu lady.
Bulot ko sefolu be kondo.
Surtout sefu jingol dido o waktu.
Surtout ñi sefolu men be jang ñi watin te.
Salmini jarga basse.
Basse alkalo kondo.
Kumanda balado billo office modo on chaminam.
Okay, thank you.
Samba ba pintitale waye billo be jang alla office o ay kondo.
Berne Salmin, the Honorable Minister, Ms. Salmina, His Excellency President Adolfo.
Janninga be minister konton na memu banko president oti ado konton na follow memu ado baroji.
Ms. Salmina, Honorable Sillah, Minister Sillah.
Wotmo ayena Ebrima Sillah konton memu doko wala nyatum put.
Can you be added for Deputy Permanent Secretary?
Deputy Permanent Secretary ali doko la bebe ate koto.
And though thank you said I got the camera in the camera.
Adewde akija faraka to mandi pa camera on sia gaba.
Menen ko mi belade.
Edolu mo alkalole.
Kono menen full bembio.
Ako idol fulo luko.
Mambo tawan no hillo.
Moni manta somanda doko la do be tawdara ma doko.
Tu bi chapande joy.
Sangi kandulu.
President di jodi ma ndi.
President fula sida ni bankunka.
Jamanu jumay.
Ila jamano kon.
Kono President Adama Barrow jamanu mu.
Wai Adama Barrow ala nyato ka yakot.
Minen ko min jiko hillo.
Ate ay meje abe tawdara bangola.
Dum non mo tamili godo.
Andum ay do pulal fana soto men ya ftate.
Honorable Minister Sillah ko entaw.
Honorable Minister Sillah ibe umol kon.
Ade okede o class keso do.
Janni be ni do soto la.
O class mun keso works minister.
Yim palasi kudo yemen soto works.
O ko do non.
Moto le be nu jere.
Minen fulbe men biyo ko koyngal iwata gongal nat.
Andol fulolu ko sinne be bola sinyetum.
Non size goto onati.
Andum hani sai wo size kilingole duntaje.
Bayla min job.
Bayla min job.
Minister Sillah.
Ani minister Ebrima Sillah.
Gondi no hanki.
Ibenu nyokam punu.
Hay hanka ngon.
Hani bi dolle be nyokam.
Dum wadi minen basenabe ala ko min jobi yo.
Wala kende solu jotendol pulun siat do benna.
Surtout minen mase.
Surtout man sa Jambur.
Kala ko do lamu ngardo do foko don jippo.
Man sa jang fen be man sa kunda do ko la ikota dawda ni na jang ibe giala jang.
Minen ton tan yo nimne.
Wo tamma yedul wasal.
Kono ha
Bari ha
liggede puddi non de.
do ko ali men commence.
Si on bi on na foto seda.
Nyal ko albe na fala to mangin doro.
Wi de e ko jaga ko politan de bawda konti.
Ya na idolu ya commence doro bari ka continue doro.
Kono minen meden kebi holare nde.
Idolu ye hop soto ko
Tepere le ngimmini do de mbada ministre dan jotti en gala dega.
ali sim famenta den yal tombon doron ama hani bucota don alwuri kal kana mul wali.
Tawi yimɓe gala dega.
Ali mol tara wulo ko no jam.
Ɗum ko limani a molla.
Wo mo limani a faale.
Kono noon.
Bari wo kam.
Min bisimi noon ɗo min mbi.
Ba fola le bisimilla passé banque o jam.
Wata hul hay hunde. Wata hul hay hunde.
Ikana sila peppenna.
Kala ko mbi ɗon minen mbase ko ɗum min mbi.
Ali men fo e jam ni ala sonta ibe wole fola.
Adama Barrow e laamu muɗum e ministère me liggodo e muɗum laamu kala ko mbi ɗon ko
ɗum. Man sakunda ani kala ministre ali men foto ɗon bena wole ka.
Kaadu min jii.
Bawdol ya jele.
Si a wi han janngo ari.
Ni ko bidoro sama benal.
So a wi mi waɗa ɗum han ɓoydata a waɗi.
Ni ko bimba kala wati kili ibajela ay.
Min works mi sonkidanno e Senghor en.
Ako ade works wotumo ani Senghor ñol si sonk.
Foɗondirat ɗo.
Ibe ñoo sabala jam.
Ɗi laabi ko mbatte ɗo ko min wit men ngare ngone ɗo mbaɗe laabi.
Itolle ko alina jam ali e silol du.
Joɗɗine ɗon Chinese ɓe liggo ɗon laabi.
Ali ni Chinese sol simbi jam ali e silol du.
Kono ɗum wona nim sahal.
Awona awanke ɓurum nim sotide.
Kaadu fof ɗi mbaɗa enjoy laabi.
Bawo mo ɓeɓe silol enjoy kam bi.
Mbaɗa enjoy prijaji.
Ibe birjol fana enjoy kam.
Woɓɓe ngannda.
Dolu malum kam.
Ko goɗo jaɓta wiide o laamu arɓan gese ladde galle a pi mboɗa ɗo.
Mo kum kilin le ɓe sonna ka fof ko ɓenna timba balluɗa damen ari feere ke ali na sijje.
Ɗuna joyre ko ballugol jama o.
Wo manque ñameti wo mum jama démarre la.
ɗum noon ministre Sillah bisimilla ala hewtaɗo yaade ɗo ɗi heewi.
Ministre bisimilla.
Assalamu aleykum.
Thank you very much. Hala bulon.
Pitam molti me yalon ko veteran olen.
Bulon mol be yalon ne ko tonya amumenti.
Ala lodu la fana mumenti mbenga olon.
Ala lodu la fana mumenti be ko tanne ma de ko ngandi.
Bari mbete dunno la ko ja ko no jam.
Mi ko en ba wa
wato ta dinola
tabi waktu ofkani
menna dogula côté men kilila
wi goddo mo kalo mo aka noddu
ko fana ndabe dun tan le kon men bota national level
wi one ko kodo go ganda ko to dow imori
bari sa ko honorable minister o manke lun tan tijam
wi siko yo wima an minister on de wona ko do leyi
ka wo sa ko no karo bu ka fa ko sawni man aman sinya nani lulu wora kenyi regional ka
on wawa wonde yonde di lewu le bidi o yotta ki do yo jogi def
na dalta baake na dogula dogu jamale kijam
wi on golli do e ko golli kewde
e ka ko me technical director wala ministry sorry ena national road authority
wi ko technical director no mo anda ko on woni marko kulle golle de do
bari na na de jante kaka jati
wi siko se wade ko kam pille wonde jati
malo wodi wala jojjatati
wi ko woni jojjata
aga silo di jojja ena ko
kala o wi jawali gobano minister
morning my MD
English
ko English wa
follow major okay mangi nuyu mbolo mi minister yépp
ne konton na
dole ko ci suma minister bi
akwa e fola la fond la minister la
suma boss MD Senghor
aka fond la boss managing director Senghor
DPS Koli
ani DPS Koli
alkali fi nek ak chef bi
ani alkalo ni sepol men be na ta
ak dima andal joge national road authority
aka ni men be boda national road authority ani delegation o mume be
man nak suma du bari
aka de dum na diamote sial
lima ore mo affaire projet bi nekkoon fii di liggéey mooy projet bu jeex bu yàggul.
Ako abe même pour la wolon projet to men banda jama me men tolo nu nyakaile même road construction ani bridge sol.
Waaw yoon bi dafa liggéey ko parce que tembe fadoto be koyna.
Ako siloni mbota passé jandem kana ko fadoto ko kadel den koyna la.
Mu am yoon bi bi jaar ni kaba kam mo dem kelwan bara.
Ako silo fananso da men tunda kaba kam ko kala sele salo la katambi di bakola.
Waaw yoon bi yëpp mu ngi ak yoon bridge yëpp mu ngi cost $82 million.
Ako $nabulo men dunta ko no wolo nyindi ko wolo million tans say ani million fula dollar la ko do jinna. Ako nyimudi na le tibe yalla ka bota Chinese man sakunda ko le ko.
Ñu ko commencé pre-feasibility bi ñu ko def 2020 June.
Ako sumandiro la fanala ni kasilo fa Kenya jibe boya dati no June karolda
2017.
Ako
2018 June.
Ako 2018 June karo nyi ko.
Then 2018 December ñu commencé liggéey.
Ako 2018 December wa ko fon do ko nyi fon na ta commencé.
So bi ñu ngi jeexal liggéey bi last year October.
Ako serum October lon do ko nyi fon kum fata banda.
C'est le président bi.
Wa ko lon man sa fon na ta banko president fon na ta ayele.
Wa bridge si nak yeneen ci bridge la.
Ako salon ni niaji be salana ni wala do kuta.
Parce que bridge mo ci gëna gudda.
Ako parce que bridge wala jam fata salon be.
Mom is ñaari téeméer ak juróom fukki million.
Ako meter kebe pula meter tan lolu ala jam foji.
Bu faroto bi.
Ako faroto tani
téeméer ak juróom ñaari fukki meter.
Ako ate mo meter keme ade meter tan lolu le. Ako meter monde. Taworo wala. Am suñu wol ak kamoy bridge. Ako ne suñu wol fa nañu.
Ko meter ñetta fukk ak juróom ñeneen.
Ako keda tansaba adi konon tolti.
So after so lolu beso.
Ako nya tambitala.
Am na ay drainage am moy fu ndox bi di jaar.
Ako di bori si lol fana yo fana so de carton town la.
Yoon bi yëpp am na convert moy li ñoo wax ñi lañu ko bridge bu ndaw.
Ako sala liwol fana so de me yalo ko di jiw ko de fanna la katan million ni fanna do la.
Bridge convert yëpp dem na may téeméer ak juróom ñetta.
Ako fana ketale kebe ani no o ani tan.
So fu mu nekk nii léegi si li mu nekk mooy yoon bi handover nañ ko government bi last December.
Ako 7 December silo ni ya tali ala doko ya seti man sakunda.
Léegi lu ñu wax defect liability period si loolu lañ nekk pour diir ñaari at.
Ako sa fana defect liability ka folo ñinti ko garantie ñanda so la sanji fula wi joko non pour ka silo ni ani salol be la Kenya ji.
Léegi si defect liability period bi.
Ako ni yo defect liability ji be agalel ka men ko ngame ko ja science.
Mo taka yi jóge fu be ñun fi.
Ako wala na jani sol fam hani dama bi ñay wol mambo jam hani kabi wol bi jani hani kabi.
So su amee any problème ci nekk ci diggante ñaari at.
Ako ni wani ko ndi kunni so na me yalo ko tiñaro la fanalo wo ti mo le ka muru na yena o jo sa ya do.
Léegi su ñaari at di jeexee.
Ako ni o sanji flol banda
ñu toga am final hani ko government bi jël ko ni ci nekkal.
Wa do ma sakunda si hani ani melna do ko ya ko sa na tali na sendi al mantello man sakunda.
Loolu la wone tuuti gàttal.
Ako akaya wala so ko mala so ya kam pour kay tan di mol la ja. Thank you very much. Alpha le ko melbe siri santo.
Wi ko netto mo anduɗa kanko ne moye tawa e mawɓe je.
Membe siri santo ja.
Wi ko anda ko kadi dowri gaw jooɗi.
Ngamen folo itandi no.
Wi hono neɗɗo folo kollirano ɗo.
Bayinde honorable minister ndiwlonde na alfate.
Wi honorable minister yo ande wona
ka serero te mu fulo
ko fere la wona mawɗa.
E ka fo managing director Mamadou Sego.
Bilo. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. It's good? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Mbenna minister kontonna.
O wi o salmini ministre makko Mr Seymour.
Honorable Ebrima Sillah.
Mo ganduɗa kon woni ministre muɗum Ibrahima Sillah.
Gofanno mba kontonna tijan ñawña bilation na kontondoro futanda.
O wi gomano ala ɗo ñawoña kono yeftini ministre salminango ɗo jaatiji ɗo ɗum woni billa.
Mbenna sefol be kontonna min.
Salmini sefuji muɗum ɗimo e rewride ɗo Baccio Cissé.
Alkalolu.
Jargaji ɗi.
Alfal min bebi jam.
E mawɓe hellifaɓe kala ko woni ɗo.
Yo nañol fanan ɗo kuñolo nimmino ɗata.
Ardiɓe ɓe e kañum e liggodiɓe muɗum kala ɓe ardi e laawol.
Ibu Deputy Permanent Secretary.
Odo woni Deputy Permanent Secretary Koli.
Na journalist wol fana nimina na
journalist be wonti do be confirm wonbe yeso mudum ko fo salmini.
Ntela diamo te jampala.
Wi kam de hala mu fotando hewde no bedde.
Yo ntebe na diamo sambala dame.
Wi kam to hala mu ka feedi.
Abekela jayi role ta min tentudo.
Wi ko mande yimbe tan yettude.
Munati ndambe o kela.
Foduma di dum wada
because meta ka project wol samba regional to ni banko
o yettude project di nabadum do region ji to yaade e leydi Gambia.
Yo bari nim project nim bu ko nim basse fatoto ko ina road anin salolu.
Wi si ko gonga si andari ya immade Johnson Mansa Janto ya fatoto ko ina kanyum birjidi
na technical director ya alota janna ya fonga kuma si wato min na banta wato min.
Wi technical director bo anduda o darino wato hali o wi gonga o hali dum to ala mu
akafuta nyim project ko kafuta project ko le kono.
Wi projet do de mo woni projet mo ganda mo tawti do projet di goddi
mini ya lon ko ke commence ma na bandula.
Wi projet di ganduda do di puddori do ha to di kuboy do
tariya
biya wi subti
yo munati no ke
foduma di dum wadi
mbal to le jayila al to community lumin bidan sefo
no sefu jidi kayme yimbe hewbe wonbe gabe rendude mo ne gobano
katu munan mbal jayila
wi hoduma di en mana
aliya mutam fe bak
yimbe nangani dum no bete
yo nata jawato min folo
ko arno do folo
mbe study kala wato min
wi ilati do
bilo ini la modum nimmin ko silo bita kaba kamba bita fatoto fara laytala
wi on makko billo si wiino
yo
lawani ko do kaba kamba ya funda hede sama takko en walla ya dula godda wi ko hotano
bari sati mol ni community alkalol ni sefulu ani gofano la office ya mutam fe bak
wi si ko gonga office governor o rendude mum e billo en kanyum be wobbe be nangani dum no bete
ndol wato dol ni ko ngam ko tiri njembuka hanifa
i wadi makko bon siliano ma
katu kanal no mo kunto ka fayela kordamba frala na silo keje yalo ma ko
si awiano ma joni kam joni yo no galle kaari yo law rewdon gol ya dula ko tan kam bombi ko
bari ya mutam fe fonga wo keno
nangani yimbe ha Allah wadi du wayi wadi
lafta projet ko kala nyami fonga ke wo nyam
ko do no falano yo mo wanni mo wado non
munatin na ngoke
oduma di wahi non
because lafta sambara dum ferio la base ferio katani ndami
wi ifalano go rewado ferio rewata do e
bari lafta standard silo la standard o min lola dum
wi si go standard lawol ko falano wade ko
highway grade A standard
wi hono god lawol gol gadda
yo ni chali so da porta nin ko mbadunde la woto interna standard
wi singol wa wi no rewdo nan wawata no wonde
wala tin wakilita
wi ko dum adi wakili
nga sambanin kaba kamba ko la kata
fa ko ga hede kaba kama do ngol rebi do ngol
bari menin tembo min to ngamira ni lota silo mbe kontanta
wi si gon han kala mo yitere mudum toppi don welto
wala nan ko fontela diamo be fo bitaw fannol la kal jayi kal
wi ko dum adi wi kanyum ko ma yetta yimbe be tan mala
yimbe sefolu anin ko fono la office anin alkalo ya mutanfe wi
jargaji di e sefu ji di e gomono office nangani dum no
ni ma mutanfe no plan o so mba fola le national roads authority anin the ministry of transport to yalla ala baraka
wi hono o ministry mo inni do kanyum national road authority kanyum he yimbe wobbe be wi on yetti on mani on dum rede gomono
yo nadiamo fanna do
wi hala mudum de dula goddo do yata do
abitam fangol le yakote ke mamudum dal
don tidinde ko ma rutto e feden titi
yo nimman sakulla e kodo dépense ay nyin sila sifa deda
wi si tay woni lamu yetti dépense potto no o kali wadi he law
lafta nalbe ke police oti ntolbe nalbe ka funyola mbenga ke konta
enen fo no potte ne mo en denden gonanen ko e police
yo because munati nango
odum adi don wiya
mbenga non ne kabo basse kata fatoto otuma be nyami kata
enen foyde ngandi immade basse mansa jang o yaade ma fatoto no wano
anin abe nyami nyinten moto mobe
enen foyde ji hande hono do wadi hande
yo gofano ya fojanko
gofano haalino dum do
nanyin sido nga saynol minikeje
wi hono di tablaji di be mbadi hen yaade di
yo mol fangol leke mutu
wi ko yimbe nangata di do duppida e gonna yaade
silal lafta sefolo alkalolun tolbe
wi de non jargaji di e sefuji di onon fof
mbenga kafunyola
enen fo ndenden
ngake police olti
wona sasimen gonen police
aje ko nyin silon tolle tam
nganden wonde de di laabi ko en jino
yo mbenga hakilo tuje kana som moya kukeje mi yalo kabe silo man to
wota ji neddo yen bonnana ko nafata en ko mupene kite
ambal danila wala
idum torima
be nga kafolo governor ala office fana be dabi kafolo
governor office billo o ha joni yo dum toro yo ngappino den do dum ngam
yo on fanna do
dula goddo
wala bita road safety
wi ko woni lawol ngol ko tankata
yo be ngamo alka accident no moy dula do
en nani wonde de accident ji woda di hedi mbadiya
yo silo dunya de da fa be data asmukta
wi denon sey ha lawol tembi fewiya
yo motol la boroje
dokku hen machine
aka speed le
fakata ko
yo ngani lonne
wi be dum gandi
o fana lafta be nga kafu nyola nga dimbayalu yamare
ndenda hen jomen gokka jamiroje
yo satel kono
nder sa jeje
gofano ya fojang
gofano e haali
ko Chinese soli nyim plastic robal le kay nyim stick som
tino di fofti di be banno hen kulle ko wato no silipi police
bari mbol jube kan ne be nyam
eden dijja
enare ni gofano la office nga ko mas ni gofano kachata ko la
wi haaldino me gofano on
ni ngaje ko wol manke puti mi yalon ko wolle betata pour ñu silo
wi si ndari di wona hunde di ganda di mujjengol law
enare binale
enare na be ngara
nyim plasticol be dami nga physical speed console keji
edi boreji goni he fof ayat be bada fere be gadda beton defaado e yo hen
kaje ko accident se masa e tanka bari ase minimize no nyam
bela usta accident di teeje he yaade e leydi he yaade
ha mboke la yamay
wi dum wada nani
yo fanna do la sefo ya fo jang
wi dula goddo do sefo haali
silo nga sila balde da to nya
wi gonga da bi mawdi madama
bari duma silo dol bi je min yalon ko hansa min nyanta ka deda
wi gonga ha joni laabi goddi to di ganda ko laabi les di ganda e poti waden
an wokkoto
wi der dum
bridge ndingol fana dolbe duma je ngalo
wi bridge goddi to di ganda dine di poti waden
yo mbal yamba mbanyim mbal dankene andi la nyinna ko
wi en holla pellital wonde si Allah jabi
ni muruta
wi sibe tutti
enare binale ni governor office
e be ngara ha governor office
nga silolu nga tanga silolu jube
wi be ngara be ndare laabi di
nge suma
be betadi
nga design okay
be bada design
nge cost kaje ko e dépasse o ngalo
dépasse ko jël way gollu
tumando bi je ni nga futande government la
wi wonna si ben jefti ben yottiyani dum laamu wan
tumando bi je ala be kayra kala je kunyin don
ko tan way han siday ko jam si Allah jabi yo ta jam he ko to dum ne golle
yo sio meta
wi jonde juuti
mbal tentula
wi en yetta
e mbal jayila
en mana
aliya katanje bak
yimbe ngetanima be
to nyaan ka silo de dam bele
gonga ko enen folli gate labidi
bari nyin community of URR ye lodula minke
jama yimbe ko woni gayga leydi basse do ko
ila lodula nyi nyata bak
wi darne mede de fewi mo ino bete
yo wala nan ko fonga jayro murundal
wi ko dum andi ha yetta en rutay maggol e mede
bisko mbe Chinese ol fana fongeten
wi Chinese abede de ko
ka ning banko o moy dépasse ke ni ya
ko yenda fa dépasse be ngari be mbadi kulle ko nafata
ani sita dawda e be diamula fo e fana te
wi kala jomi jodi si karan ko ma jettabe mana
the government of Republic of China, People's Republic of China be tentula be
jaya yen lamu China ngu gila ambassador o do hayotindo president yimbe mon fof salmini be yetti be madi
yonte diamo fana kuntula
wi tayada hala mudum
man na president Gambia, the president of the Republic of the Gambia, President Adam Barrow fo nga fana
jaya hala mudum ta yettani mana president Adam Barrow e lamu mudum fof
ani mol min fana minister koto ani min fana kafutan na nyendo koto non nimmino nganyulo ke
minister nayejo e yimbe mudum fof be renduno
mbe fana nim permanent secretary min bijan no
permanent secretary fo yimbe
mbe fana tentula mbe jayila
ko ma yetta fof bala jobe
wa salam ala baraka
sa folo India mo be ban
wi wa wi de sar fayda hundi hala
bari sa kala mo dako
wi o en tinde wonde
lilo kudi ala tola
e gon ko lari haye fayni ma hoddu
ba wati de keri fana
ay joni wa ko ala
sa le ko la nakachala ko
joni ko wa kanu se hala be
wonon na honorable minister
ni ko won honorable minister
Mr. Ebrima Sillah
Back master of ceremony.
Oi mo ganduda ko kañum woni ɗum jiyamano ɗo pakka jarama
Follow mba fala alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
wi ko adi fof yetta allahu taala tappo e ɗo
Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
o wi o yetti allah ba
Alhamdulillahi rabbil
o
alamin.
yetti allah haalaji kadi
Na governor Bami yalon ko nabe nun jambara Minister of Local Government ani wofle wulte tata be tamola mba konton na baki
wi hono samba bamba gontuno den do kono en tini wonde kila de balde fo be e lawol o yaade e ministre marko chefuji di e laamuji toto kidi o
anala do ko ñol min bebe ala office to jang
wi kanyum e liggodibe be wondi do office do be fof
na chef keval min yalon koy bijang anin alkalolum be konton na
wi chefuji mawdi godi do e jargaji di fof salmini fof
be konton na bake e tol ani konton wala
salmini be no bete no wonate
ka foy kon kontanta bake
holla on wonde weltima no bete
yang jia kurñin tundo to janjamin
no jippinir don bodo e tundo ni kam yimbe mudum
anu fana ye kuma kende bal min fo nyimbe to jang
wi denon haalulaji moƴƴi di kalton do e nder bengde
mbe na nañol fana mbe konton na
wiɓe addide kadi salminiɓe
kabonna deputy permanent secretary min marta do ko walla kuñala
gila deputy permanent secretary ko anda ko kañum mari kulle golle ɗe
director of national roads authority NRA
director ko ganda ko kañum woni marto kulle laabi ɗi o
itol be mu safono jandigol lete
wiɓe foy wawi winde ko ɓiɓɓe ɗo e
bawo na DPS technical Ebrima Koli
ko wiyete DPS deputy permanent secretary Koli
ate ababota basejan
wi nene mum ko ɗo iwi on komi kawma
amma fana keta imam ti basejan
Allah waɗi mama muɗum ne woni no imam leydi ɓe ɗo
yo Senghor fana dum Mamadou Senghor
Mamadou Senghor ko serel meɗen
ate fama fana do ko ke jande
onne baba muɗum wonino ɗo kadi
ayala karambu be ke basejan
kamne ko ɗo jangi
do ma jama fana wuluta basejan
wi Allah waɗi onne miñum ne jibina ɗo e
yo safo non dafa nan din jati le silo
wi kamne ha joni wawi wiide den ko jati jiɗo ɓe adde
wala nan contanta baake
on waddi a Ebrima Sillah Emarks mo wertima
na masaku na ministry la do ku bunda dol fana ban fejam
wi hono liggotoɓe laamu woɓɓe ɓe wondi ɗo ɓe
nde be kontonna
salmini fof
anin na kibar talalu
kañum e okkiroɓe kibaru ɓe
mi yalon ko ndiɓe silo kan
kañum e yadata e laawol ɓe
na nañol drive hol ni mo kotemol na police hol be konton
police haɓe mum ha e darayfaɓe fof salmini
ka fo gofono ni sefol ni alkalole kon kontanta baake pour ninga ben bi
mawɗo billo peñum ciyaman wawi mbiya gobano e yimɓe maɗa e office o fof o salmini o weltima no bete
bawo président Adama Barrow e sambalaro min dumbulu
wi ɓay président Adama Barrow hono salminago e ko nuli ɗum ko
holom ñinde nin tata dawoɗa
wi ko ɗum woni kala ɗo wawi yaade
mol min be siringa o bankola tundo to
wi yimɓe wonande ɗum to ɗum tundu toon
anala sefol nala alkalol nala alfa ñaton kol
ɓen yeesoɓe wonɓe toon
ka kata hana taram bulo detta ñawñan ni ka ben
wi eto ɓen ɗon kala ko wawi ittude wona feere joɗoɗa e ɓen
e sadio kumo min be bulu
wi ayat haalulaji ko tamɗon
salon
anda ɗum
sa lanna feerel kan
wi kamne fawa ɗum e feere
sadio no ñamin se bankola do ko taryandi no ñamin
ko wawata yawnude golleje ɗe
bar base jang kontanta baake ñim yuarar tundo
gonga leydi base ɗo de weltima no bete
yuarar tundo kontanta baake
leydi base ɗo yuarar weltima no bete
parce que kabrin 2017
wi gila 2017
masakunda do ko dati
wi kala laamu golle fuɗɗi
amanke ministry of works dam mati
wi wona ministre marto kulle golle ɗe tande
bari masakunda la ministry belom
wi siko laamu o ministre muɗum o fof
nin bunda wulita
damal fof damal kala gimmingal
e kamute feele
o nangana ɗumen
fay tambi o ministry bundal fama
mi yawta hono ministre oɗa o
ngalonne e kam mol jiyano ja ñami
wi andi no mbawɗon jippinirde yimɓe
nen masakunda sulata kene ko wala
wi hay silamu o falama kene han
nen mas pour karambun lombang
wi ko jangirduna
fo laftan lombang
ko lopitan na
fo sila lombang
ko lawol na
fe won fe nim masakunda surata le kam ma ko ile tamba ko nyata e tariya
on ji tan on ganda tigin ko on darda tidan badon
wala atinnam fanan kontanta baake bi
wi ko dum adi ha welti hande no bete
kaytandi e base sefola
wi ha holla base sefo fula
tonya mbota west coast
wi holluma wonde ko west coast
bari mba fulale ko be kala banko be la ministal
wi sikon ma holluma si Allah jabi ala
andum banana mol bota CRR janna kunting
wi kamne yimbe mudum ko kunting gimore
fo inata si kombo
ita be jeybe jodo e kombo
tol famal wuluta janin tol
wi baba mudum jibina don kanyum e kay ten don
oto santon ko la ni solo
wi nenon den dowrina be kala ko wonki
ko mi yalon ko isulata
wi hunde fo hunde ko jomen paala
wala bon tol fana la suloti
wi ko dum kayne woni faale moy
wala bon tol fana la finna koti
wi ko dum woni ko yidi moy
parce que man sakunda lafta minna
wi lamo ko faala
wolo nyintinga bundali yele sia santol to
be ɓurita damme ɗe keewa e dowri he
isaje funding kel so dow ko soto ela santol
ha sukaaɓe jeɓe ɓe keɓa golle e dowri he
isaje no ñami mol se tarano ela dulal do tara ko ñima kono
ha yimɓe ɓe mbawa jooɗade to dowri to jonde moƴƴere
isaje no ñami mol ka saterol bula ñamin kata sit en dal to wose talano ñami
ayen no yimɓe ɓe gimmoto e cewon to so kon jaha e jooɗo to dowre tuuneji to ɗum usto
wala na ni ajibe karambugol la lo semboɓe warlin kan santol leto
wi ko ɗum addi a daari han darnugol jangiri ɗiji mawɗi ɗo
Masakunda e college o soto jang baseja
en jii laamu o waɗi feera collecte heɓima base
andum fana URR CRR kata North Bank la karado la Wolf aning LRR ibe project o kono mi ya lon ko rural electrification project mi ya lon ko min tata sate kemenan nim feng mi ya lon ko kurama bina diata mela baati
ɗi region ji nayi ɗi inni ɗo ɗi fuɗɗorde North Bank yahandema LRR CRR yottano en ɗo URR en jii wonde o courant mo ganduɗa e faala huɓɓude dulaji ɗi fof ha joni ɗum mi tawa e o projet
won project olde mi ya lon ko Masakunda laftake la jannin 2023 be banna
ɓe paala ɗum yottano kala ɓe keɓano
o sa
ko wiyete 2023
mo sa fono sa na hamen ko sanji killing anin kari woro tema wala mo nyindi ka sate jamal min be santo to ka courant keje
ɗum woni ɗo he 2023 si tawi woni ɓe keɓi hen si Allah jaɓi hen beela ceeje kewɗe to dowri to ɗe keɓano ɗe keɓa
annon nin courant fana keta je wala mo nyindi ka silol futandi ka bo silabal kan kata molla sate ringol
ayya ɗum si noon wayi hen yahat ha wewna laabiji ɗi ceeje ɗe keɓano ɗe ɗene ɗe keɓa laabiji ɗi
wala nan benna director NRA Senghor mbala kumo bambandla ko ay jabiro minke safe bala sabi silola ani sate rungul min bo dal bala
wi ko ɗum addi ha hono Mr Senghor moy tittina haala on ko haalani safe o ko mbela ko inni sabi en yahande ma ɗo sare place en bani ko ji fof ha yotto biro ba en
ko ñil ndila do pol Kenya asettati no nyamin ni wolto pototo
wi ɗum wona joni sohla laamu o ha ɓe jiya ɓe gimmina yimɓe ɓe ngara ko wiyete soɓe ko ɓe ngara ɓe laare ɓe ɓeta ɓe laara ɓe laatiɗo ha ɓe jiya wonde johan kulle ɓe mbaɗa dépensé kulle ko wawete golle
par ce que Masakunda ya lonne ko ni ngañi silaba doku ngañi salol doku nin silandiŋol min ye lon ko wolle tata molla satel ta ni la jeyol ni wol man doku woto han sa doku wala ala kumaya dasatal
si tawi woni laamu o laari ɓe laartidima ɓe mbaɗani en biriji e ɗi laabi mawɗi ko wayno wulli ɗo ha yahdema pasamaten walla ɓe immade ɗo yahdema koyna ɗin mbaɗama siko laabiji golɗi dowriɗi ɗi ka ha weli yimɓe no fedde ɗum waɗi ha yimɓe koppi kono wi ha joni si Allah jaɓi yan ɓoyata enare waɗa feere udditata ɗo office mo ganduɗa ko nota regional office neɗɗo ara jooɗoɗo ta ko nota chief engineer mo ganduɗa ko kam marata kulle ɗen golle jomen no keɓirta golle laaɓi to sokiɗi fof no gollira
o weɓe président Adama Barrow la miro la koto
wi ɗum moy ko hunde nde ganduɗa ɗum e miijo président Adama Barrow
kajo ko ninga silol dada akana kay dada dron bari ni tiñata kodi ba kana dum kote ke kana ka ko kasilo be dada kote ko wala na maintenance de tarra jallo toujours
wi ɗum waɗi ayyat si tawi noon ɗum e miijo président si tawi noon wayiya hay si ɗi gollama ha pariya wona jomin boppari ɗo tan o si yeehi ha hunde nden yappoyima tati ɗi wawete watte maintenance
ko aliya moy nyamin na director of technical services George Jata ay min fo jang ko sanji fula Chinese solbe wala kala pour ka je ko nin silol nin bridgeol min ya lon ko ye dada ni parité bine mburundi la Masakunda la
wi ha joni no ganden Mr Jata holiri ɗo ni si tawi woni Allah waɗi ɓe Chinese ɓe gonat ɗo ha joni ko tolno ɗo duuɓi ɗiɗi ɓe ndaara ɓe ndartino si tawi woni ɓe jii ella hay goto yaltani on tuma ɓe ƴefta ɓe mbaɗa ko wiide handin over ɓe gokkita ɗum yimɓe ɓe joni kayta golle mon pari
andu ni e murundi Masakunda aɓe kala dépense olde pour kaje ko o bridgeol ke maintain bawo moɓe aleno salo niya dada fasa continuer ka maintenance doro watu pour saje no ala ye sango min dinna se wasino
sabi ko ɗum woni ko jiyata si tawi noon wayi hono bridge ɗi ko maaɗi laartude hunde nden jomum wona woɓɓe ɗo noon tan o ma joomen ndaara si tawi woni hunde waɗoyi ella seeɗa ko ma watte
woto o kammala mbe suulala baake nin sefol nin alkalol nin gofonola office o min mbijam pour ninga dow kuoke nga plangol millandi ñin bridgeol ñanta dadala ñamin e ñanta maintain na ñami
wi ɗum waɗi ha office goppano o e kayɓe ne jargaji ɗi e sefuji ɗi ɓe mbaɗa feere ɓe gokkodira juuɗe ha ɓe jiya hono o bridge jiɗi ɗi mbawata yaade yeeso
won kono Masakunda e feere landi
wi he nder ɗum joni tare takke lumata ma joni laamo wodi ko pari pewnu
kaje ko bridge o mi yalon ko wole ɓe base jang
wi hono bridge mo ganduɗa kon woni base ɗo
anin bridge o min ɓe fatoto
e bridge mo ganduɗa kon woni fatoto
ɓe tolle kela je mi yalon ko motol min yalon ko ɓe borla o salol ñin kan kaje ko se fending jono pour ka landi ka bula Masakunda laran keso kono pour o salol la dow ko Kenya se ko woti
wi ɓe laarat ɓe naatindo ɓe mbaɗa toon dula ɗo ganduɗa koko ɓetata motoji mawɗi motoji ɗi ganduɗa ndewa heeɗi ɗi mbawa yoɓde kuunde ɗum ya ha natta to arante islamu
yo falsaretol ni moto bicycle ol woldata tarrawo kon
wi hoɓɓe saraji ɗi e seretaji moto cycle kañum e seretaji ɗi ɓe joɓata hay
woldata jokon
ɓe joɓatade
bar motolu woldaɓe tarra jeel
wi motoji ɗi kan ɗin ɗon ɗin kayen ɓe joɓat
andu mbaji ɓeɗale pose sonayano molbulu ñamin
ma ɓe laara ɓe ndartino hono ɗum weeɓirta yimɓe ɓe
ñimmu kulede mi yalon ko Masakunda bele sitala
wi ɗum ɗon ko hunde nde ganduɗa ko laamu o fof jooɗi
ka ko jiɓe isaje no ñamin ay keno tarinke
wi ɓe ndaari ɓe laatidino ɗum wawta wadde ko ɓuri yawde
par jannin mbakela fana nim basemol binala silale ñin tundo be isajen ka binala radio Gambia la bundam fama bi jannim mole kacha
wi jomen mbaɗa feere ɓe ndaara jomen laara waktu jomen jaato radio base e kala ɓe kalda yimɓe ɓe kan
andu womu ɓawo kukuta ni addati fo mo ɗoɓe je moɗol ka balan
hunde heyde fof hunde heyde si a fuɗɗima ɗuman ko ma jomen waɗa woɓɓe saliɓe
bari wala tinnamɓe suulala baake dow ku kendo min bannin alkalol ni sefol tema jang o dow ku kendo ñing anin hadamadi ya tamandiro kuñala wose bambam baake ay lafa
wi sigoro si a ndaari ɗum ɗan ko hunde nde ganduɗa ko ma jomen ndaara mbaɗa feere ndartiɗo ɗum wona hunde nde ganduɗa ko tinna ɗum wawa yaade
ɓawo toña Masakunda marta bankola bari Masakunda fana yalon ko tundol to sefol nin alkalol nin kumandawol wolle fana e kawa soto molla karola baake
gonga ko lamɗo mari leydi muɗum kono gonga si a ndaari jargaji ɗi e sefuji ɗi ko kayen goni yimɓe ɓe ganduɗa ɓe ɗon kadi konngol ɗo ɗo leyɗe moƴƴe
andu ni wo keta sila jama kuwol ka dow ku kumo ka fo jang woɓe Masakunda fana ma koylal pour silol min alon koye bota satel to kata sila bal kam pour ngol dol dow kuno
wi ko ɗum waɗata ha jiiɗa laabi kewɗi ɗi ngoodi ɗi ganduɗa ɗi mbawi immadde coyde sogoño ɗi gara ɗe punta e laabiji mawɗi he
ɓawo neyaji ɓe Masakunda ñin wato kono ñin sanji sabo kono sila dow ku jamal min yalon koye ka fo ñin banko kan na manque ñin base siloti a jama babi je akabo Masakunda fangla dépense ole
sabi so a ndaari a tawana ɗi laabi mawɗi ɗi ganduɗa ko hono ɗi laabi base elan ta si a ndaari hen ko kala ko watte hen ɗum ko to aranke islamu to watta iwat
wol kono farafeñe nin Mansakonko tema salo min bije wo kam makoye baake ko ɗo min ka sotoje ka ɗum disla ɗo kuwol kunto banko kam
si a ndaari han ko immade Mansakonko yahanma farafeñe ngol laawol si a ndaari o biriƴ ɗon han ko nannata koye ɗum wallano pete e nder laabiji goɗɗi e nder laamu
andu ngalone URR jang this is a very strategic location mi yalon ka sutiyata Sénégal la sutiyata Guinée Bissau la sutiyata Guinée Conakry la ninga jansilol dow kuwa ñama julayani safaroɓe sone ala bakele jammol bul
wi enen si a ndaari a leydi par ce que ɗo ɗo jooɗi en koye boota gonɗen enen ko boota hurli en e ɗo ɗo jooɗi en ɗo e moƴƴino bete wi ɗe leyɗe ɗe konti ɗo Afrique ɗo Sénégal Guinea Bissau, Guinea Conakry, din don ha e Malien do fof do be mbaado rewde be mbasa en do sak.
Mansakunda
la bi badama ayat wala en no bet.
Mansakunda la o do ku ferel kono ndol poro bunda ndol la fana marta jela jebero be ke kana pour ka jeno nyami ka port bunda to de la nyim banko je sate fana de ka me dry port isa jeno nyami na se julani safaro fana sonen
wi ayat sinon wayiya dum wemna en no bede ko wayno julaya kanyum he ko sifa dum don ko wite safaro kulle ko wemnata en no dum wawta wadde
kali alo nyami GPTC fana nu e ka me sa GSTC wol fana mbetambo min de be la kujama jibe kan isa jeno nyamin ka bosol la fana santol to tani so tan dungoni finto se soneano santon kol fana bulu nyami
wi hono marbe kulle bosuji di e ndariyan on tuma ko inde wonde be tamno ko wite GPTC kono be chasi inde ne joko GSTC yo joni ko be joni be chasi inde moy be pala be teba hamme no bede kulle be waluden dowri di yaade heba yaaje bosuji
so president Adama Barrow abe fere jamale landi kam pour ka balwo sone andi anin ka kol sone andi mole santo
wi president Adama Barrow ha joni fala wemnude hunde hewde e dowri he kulle ko wawta yottade
oto wo ferel tol fanan wala non wultanam pour ka jibe wol se tariano nyamen pour ko ferel la do ko dati
wi ko ene non mbawi dum yawno ko dum addi akay ngimi ko buri yawde be ngimo den fere kulle ne wa futte
oto han sa embe daniro kela nimma sakunda findital kan pour salo la kunyala tol min nyanta lola je pour joro lafta pour nale do ko ke isaje no nyami mbe ninna do na community santé city kaje ko nimma sakunda e bulola nyo kam parce que fewo fen soto daje abina muru na to la kam pour kaje ko alla silole do ku alla dulale do ku andu fana tani na sonali
nde dum foti wonde enen mon e mabbe hamme ko buri yawde jomen bakkilo njiya wonde yodo mo ko buri yaw sabi sinon wayiya ko dum woni hunde de ganda si ari galamu ga to e meden ko buri yawde
ning governor la office aning NRM be tax force lon la mi ya lon ko balon la ñu pour ka mol sensitize kende ke radio to aning media bunda dol
wi NRA kanyum he governor office be mbaɗa feere ko ɓuri yawɓe ngarna committee ko wiyete task force jomen ɓe mbaɗa feere si ɓe darni ɓe mbaɗa feere ɓe jaha to radio kañum vidéo ɓe mbaɗa feere ɓe kalda e mumen kulle ɗum waɗe ko ɓuri yawɓe
andum ɓe lafla alkalol nin sefol nin community ñatonkol min ɓe tundo to yamu tan fe mbegam bulola ño kan ŋaajo ko ngawin kol se keno ñamin tarinke
en ɓe paala jargaji ɗi e sefuji ɗi yimɓeje yeesoɓe wonɓe heɓe ɓe nangodira ko ɓuri yawde ɓe mballodira ko wadda ha ɗum ɓura yawde
na fama min fo jang sefo base ame kurbali wolam toñaati ɓawo niyajembe hañila ka dunnan jang silole walanta
mo wi baba muɗum sefu base o ko wi ko ɗum woni gonga sa yawi ɗo suude naate an ko lawol ɓurita
kunun tumomin nan ɓe dunna jatara so kuuta bake samaɓe na kan wala nam manfutala pour ka fa natala sate natala banko kan
wi hasi ko yottotoɗo tawi ni kiseɗa ɗum addi ha yahani ha to maɗa wima mi ari de mi naati leydi maɗa
laftala non pour kata konto ñin somanda barna benta tol fanga ɓe dami belari dami
wi kayen ɓen ɗo ɓe mbaali ɗo gimmagol mumen ɗon ɓe calmina ɗum ɓe gimmi tan ɓe kawre muɗum kañum on hanti on ko ɗum waɗi ɓe mbawani toon yaade
sefo manfutela kuno suto mbe hakko dan lawola
wi sefo wawanima yettonade hanti kono ima toro yaafuye ɗon
bare mbe mo be tentulam bal jayla
o wi o yetti yimɓe ɓe fof o maniɓe
kay tan ndiyalla ko nte seyta min noto ay wala min la
o wi i wawi wiide mo lomtiɗo hono dammugal ngal uɗitigal
ay do ku kendo min dati anin community min bi jang
wi hono golle moƴƴe ko fuɗɗino ko kañum e yimɓe hewɓe wonɓe ɗo ɓe
anin ay wala silol min landi pour kaje ko ka molla tani na sone andi nyim banko kam president Adama Barrow la yamaro kan
wi hono taman ga kuditi ha golle moƴƴe mbawi fuɗɗede dow yamirore président Adama Barrow
mba folale ko nimma wolla fanta talala
wi kala ko ɓeydani hen hay hunde ustata
andum bela fila fana nga do ko fana nga bambande bake ngani had abadi yani
wi nenon ngal musidal ne endam kam si Allah jaɓi ɓeydat ɗum no bete ustata e nayi
ni santoto do kuta mansakunda be dahala bakele parce que be duno talala mansakunda kan tenda ma hon
wi sinay dowri ndi gollama han dum usta dongal no bede dina yawta hayto to capital jitoy
walatina kabo president adama baro la fala do kula labango la moment tulum santo la kuwal
ko dum ade imonde do president ya hayoto to kay ministry hato of last wi jobe hay goto fijirta dowri ndi
andum bante site la bake kaaje ko fala la demaro kan se wala keno nyam
deno si Allah jagge be do kekew je mon haabe jiya wonde ko be fala wala
si o meta
jonde juuti
tabla be siari
ya tay heewi
mbe sefol ning alkalol be kontonna
jagaji di e sefu ji yono fo jettama
andum be hako danna fana
de yon toroti dinde yafuye
e meta siring
on boyi jodo
andum fana tabla be siari ton fala
ya he kadi heewi wodi kadi
sefo ning alkalo santo do ngalon ne ni sama boyta ku jamal katara laari kun
wi yandi kono jagaji e sefu ji siday he handum wani dan awa jomen handi ko
kuno nyintundo to jan suto sama bala keta jan
wi ndu tundudo hakki don ko gonga ndiyam tewdam wadi han
anu ngalo le bawo jammu sene tundo leti
wi deno do bay ko yimbe ko remobe
ali alla kol betuje pour nga singa nyin kol kacha
ko fono foti en gari hawrude do mitino
mbal temtula mbal jeyla wala
yetti en o mani en kad
ala baraka ba
wi kala do ko wuli en lima en wulino ha wonde ko kura moye
be ma honorable minister la diamo
ko en nani hala honorable minister
be bawta ya
ay yade heewi
be men kala don
ko batten dan
be sedia be kidila
en notan be bandi
Alright, assalamu alaikum badingol ngal be konton again. Comme ali alo nyamen drum minister Ebrima Sillah atlo minister me marine transport la works and infrastructure comme ali alo nyamen lokun sa bilon ti lulu nyangti wulita kabo kombo kana banku be yayangna kadula jibe mele alon ko wolle under construction ala ministry be construction men ke kana dal nyi to jibe bi comme ali alo nyamen bi jimo arjimolati felenti mfutata passé santen comme ali ala nyame ko manding do jankere dal dami ala ko dimba bo passé marché oto ay dula jani jele so kada fendi mi ala ko do ko felenta kada je ministre futata nan jele bi kana je al halo jibe comme al baje kanyame mol felenting commande dron wa firo ning sandro de la janne comme al baje kanyame tem mol felenting dun tamar so kono ninte mong lay ni la fengli do wa firo ke comme ali ala nyame dra bo la nyama fale bar sem basse marché do jam fudat dal to million ko wolle be under construction ke jibe be haalo mento be fudala ministre malenga jibe abe kol me ko wol bita ka nyame ko me na jiati me ko wolle marri jam kola be la mo la be men fula don babe bonna le ala barka Alright, jodu
nde morlem mordam fa base mane kunna
mor nata ngaltere jang ngalbe tafo mo la jang
ndelim me wa firo le jang jana mun marché kutoti president ay marché mel lo basen koliye marché beteata a kontano warta mol kontanta bar president ni lonko basse musol ne kontano de sanyu ne kontano de sabakele mba jayla mba tentula bar na kontano de satale
kina de sata
mun ne kontano de sanni marché kono jang subutiyol mandung chaltiyol mandung kiyanten kunna tabulo mallo o munna ni kuya kuma bata fele kunu samaketa moli ata na baga sol dol tinyata woy dol samba dula be nori o kata na problem ba
ni bildino men bijande wodum wona faale
o nafa kata ma wara bigiro ni nafa ma wara kaatu kiya me be kiya o kiya man tambi mo na ni mo dun taje marsa mun kunna kiya o kiya mo yalo man tel febo abitata de bara mam febo kiya ni mam febo dal doro ay na tra baro lafta ma ko ila ay ma ko kiya ko mo le marsa kono muso yembula ngana tabulolo ye subutiyol nati ye nyetiyol nati marsa dia
yalo ne munaki na subutiyol me ala predunya
munake subuto me ala tu jang ko dula mam fanu yo nte mello iko dula mam fanu wala ke ne ma subutiyol bula pour yedu mo be mam place sotono hanin tele musol men ka wa firoke place mo be mam place sotono wala mun problème oti
wa firo dum ngani sandra bi daga
amantar taka wa firo man takan amantar takan folo kilo fulan jang marse dobe jana ni basebi marse da fosidu la nani base kilon kon yalo firo be ko yalal marse kilin lo alamata dum marse kuto fara mel dum taje tilo wala mun ko le yakoti wala mun problème oti wala mun problème
be mun kuma labana fala man sakunda e ani milala be lam
ndey men fala president baro nga jay nga tentu bara mun ke ay musoli makoy ay ala la maro koy la fa basse musoli kam ay makoy mbole fala ay manda hade akabe nda hande ka bari manda hade musoli man tadda hari kadun tel kal ni marse nu la karam mon ka jojani na dépense on ka jojani na safu non ka jojani nu la study fees ka jojani school fees ka jojani man tan ni dia so ka marse la ko to fereng ndeso sodo ngamen fo president abaraka bake
adam baro mba tentula mba jayla ay kada ko menke
ito
ndemo abisatu manele ti
manam
ne kundan nada wafurol la jang na wafur fo ñino kanjollo kani bale ko le wafu bar mete mbo men do ten ko le yabe warli mbala bake way sama fenda sita kunum fa ñu fonyo fa men nata jama ay kasaro ke bake
mun ko le asifal bal ganja
tilo wartan kan fo e ñim plan sorol bu ka ko kunin tanu palan sorol wol buka ko kunin tanu ñim fen kere fenlu ni ila fenlu ko do o so moy kanake nyaado malet wol foni ki kadoro eta do yol fay ha ndel kay manda man sa ay mol ma koy jimbato ko be marché o men dala kama koy rokke mu ka marché o men dada ya kada ke yo dada mole wala entel febo tabulo man tel febo fene ma mol febo ñin kay ñin wala bo to bar man kunje faydo melbe duma wala siada melbe jimban koto ndel mam mu ngakole aku bala sodo kay be mol ma ko le marso mento e mol ma ko marso e dada doro musole sawunje
okay oya go ni todo
assalamu alaykum warahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh
itodu
nte fatma da fisur lon toti nte mbe business olla
business olla
mada nga fa sara kule kan nte anat mata isuru na business nyai bari business ngani kebe wala tabal nyai awada baro ara marché sigindi alhamdulillah tige ngalada o kontani bar kontani ke aro ko honne kadi ke gani hibe yarunga tagunu kiyengo kama aga tona mbahindi bayinde kemo ku febo wallahi ona tabal nya sigindi seno en na Kenya di wasen na Kenya di ho kote en kagillo kama Kenya ino dema ona challenge kita kamun no konti okula Kenya wala ga ino dema mancha kuna no dema ona tabal nu chigindi ya garu ongage ke gage obirene kiadi onore mun karan komputu gana kiadi ona ho nyana kiano gondi o wa aran baro nyagana agara kebe nya illa lagana tuga hal sagadi o wa nyagana ano dema ona kian challenge kita kamun no gondi parce que ko parancer no kumo ku wati angana baga siliti angana sagundi angana parancer la kam abonnoa kian na bonondira kamengari ni angana bagasi lo uredanga jinka na bonondinia parce que jinu ko bagasi ko galo gili odaga ni wutu Senegal o gori sini atoko jimma nyatia jinna bonondinia o adam baro nyagana ana garundema ona tabal nun chigindi ona ngage kam salli ala muhammad
wala barka ba kam badin ko millam basse musul milalan ko e wedi amlan wala go on
ngato mu jaarwet
itina ramula ja wafiru wala sandiro
wafiru
ikamna wa
nka furna le bela wa fani ngi jimol anin timol ne other things
wafiru be nyadi
mbanna fo flakan to wala be dara me o fio ye go na halede me yetti arama baro me yetti governor me yetti area council because I kala ko yida do ko ma wada misunderstanding masden darnama kon alhamdulillah kon one order kadi other side ti wala ko marché li yala ko marché hono ye be natirta masden wada difference in 3 times. Marse no ga center marse on. Other places wala kare marse ga ala marse de. Number 2 men toro Adam Baro governor area council wallu himbe tabe wadde rebe fu araga tew nata litinata. Dum men men toro Adam Baro. Himbe be heja ga still now government what go do. People are here, you don't have places. No fish, no this in meat. You should help us with that. Yeah.
Okay, coming for drum bari ngali amoy nyamen drum. Okay, clear.
Mana ga mo fana mbe ara maro danila ay mo fu mo le place wol ketabulol wa filla nying naka da nying man de beti because samal be naka ku mo yamu ni kono mo dol bu ka ku ay mo dem tablo ke. Number 2 fengole na ta suwol ni nyole du marché kono musol be na amanke jantin jam place e bula musol be du e mol de ma woto haade
barka okay mbari ko mali amoy nyamen dum e quand même fodro wala nyinti ko ko mal baje ka nyamen nyinte me na tilobe kandiri mbakele ko mi hana lienje dron albalo nako jam fendo mi alan ko tilobe kandiri je bakel so be men appeal gan government bul wala mu ya kada bake ko mi nyin kian sifa yo provide me alan ko abe set provide le jam because ni ajibe jam ko mi ya fanya nyim paran soro li bukatilo nyin bukatilo mutano so akara fendi mi alan ko nala ajibe nyinte me on ndafa betara le nyame balo nako jan sabato be kala fenen mi alan ko aba ko la bakel andu e même fana fo kay tan ko sama sidale fendo mi alan ko to nyala because kunun jiwo men kada jang wara badal ni na rajibe wa firlal siring nyin ko ten akara fendi mi alan ka ko la bakel ay government man dan ko ya baw ya itandi ko musolbe wa firula dula jamal to ila fale pour be ka funo la kilinto anim fana mi alan ko wollo nyi wa filal dalin su wa filal pour be nana marché kilin ko ne saje wa firo nyi sonia wala sandroni wa firo sonia o kala fendi mi ala kuma da ba ko do government civil bala jam yusfa ba anila mi lemsi be den ala janne nga join minister kam mi alan ko wala Ebrima Sillah at lom minister memo marent transport la works and infrastructure nada ya na wala banku be ya ka dulal jibe mi alan ko wolle be constructional ke kam wala constructional mi alan ko wolle be ke kam wala his ministry karaje ka inspectional ke ka jibe do ko nyim be tembe damendo so kala fendi mi alan ko wala sabu ya sabu na raba se mo kedo fando jan ka je jibe ka ko bi da kanya ko mal baje kanya min temela mol felenti dum damal so nyin ko ne wa firol ke kan ibe fanna fa kan so kala fendi mi alan ka kuma da ba ke be den ala janne ala barka ba ko fadi do
déjà je contact ñin si bo garazo la belo ake set balti o ni je pareta in 2 months 3 months o mu tol be do kala je o mu so to la jang everything o ndolle ko jang su boni yewote bu na jang isadi pardon passé o be nga janun ni ma se be no nyamena o da so mo ko o ke mu ani su boni ani nyo beta o ma te rodo o ke mu so dol bambe du na je ni wado kono fam atemela avant que ko mon la bi su boli do jang bari jang e jang su boni ni ñewte du na jang abe be tala wo marché doto de nata raje ato fan albe la bata jele wo ni dula ñewoni suboti nan wala jam bari ni aja tinano la fana ye dulale de me ala no mo de bita momoji ko fa ya metro applican ni nata afam ka lola ay diamwe ko ndim a sendi bari alon ko bi mandin kolko ko ni man euro ni man euro konko ibu ka ton so la lalo ni aje tel fa nga fa dol kanal ya fa mo le subo bi na la sai nyebi na sai so sai yala ni rawno be ken fondal fa na musole dia
mbaɗi ko mala ñamen drom ne jana jibe be fatoto la bridge la jala bridge me yalan ko ye wala lo fatoto jam me yalan ko kata ko ena ma fangla comme min nga fala ñamen drom ni Ibrima Sillah be silo kanjang manala ka fo molo bita kam dulal ka dulal inspect ka jibe be construction be ke kan dulal mento jannon dal dami yalan ko belor damen tem jannon dal dami yalan ko la fa ka toll station lo jam ñin toll station ñin ni alo jabe kala fendi mi yalan ko pour ni moto be tambi kanjang be fenne bondi la yajo pour o ko do nyim fana bita man sekundala ranke so kono so akala fendi melan ka kuma da bake pour ay nana na janjibe walla ye comme ala alo nyame foloto la dol to ka jibe aybe toll station ni rek la dami so ina na conclusion o kele ka itandi ko aybe toll station ni lola janne pour ni moto be tambi kan ise fenjo so ya senen le fana ka itandi ko far sere toll ni susare toll wolte nani wolbe tambi kan jete fenjola bar mele alon ko wollo mo rol ne wolbe tambi kam face fm bondi ya mi alon ko abita man sekunda ran keso kon am beden na la janne tambi lambi da kan dalo fana jibe kan kala nya dron mbabo na ga maintenance civil ala barka
So government wants to start collecting toll fees at the Basse and Fatoto bridges as well, like we are doing in Transgambia. So what we have been looking at since in the morning is, of course, the proposed locations of some of these toll booths. Temporarily, we want to bring in the makeshift booths from the Transgambia. Now that collection has moved to the main town facilities. In the meantime, whilst we construct permanent structures for this purpose. So these are the locations we've been looking at, both in Fatoto and in Basse. So where we're standing here behind us, this is the exact location where we want to put it, so that, of course, fees can be collected, of course, from people who ply these roads. The information we got, I think it's just for vehicles, not for donkey carts or, of course, motorcycles for now. Yes. This is the mission for today. And now we're proceeding to the Trans-Gambia Bridge, where we'll be looking at, of course, the swampy section where construction is about to commence. You remember on our way down, we looked at the toll facilities and other things, but for now, we will be going back to look at, of course, the preparations being made by the contractor and the consultant, and of course, and the PIU from the NRA regarding the construction of the swampy sections of the Trans-Gambia Road. That is what we are about to see. But as I said, the Accountant General has now been tasked to collect fees, of course, from this location in Fatoto and, of course, at the Trans-Gambia Bridge, which has already commenced.
And do you want to put in each side?
Well, I think one would do both ways. We'll put one station, two barriers for incoming and outgoing vehicles at every location.
And how soon would this project start?
Well, as I said, the makeshift containers from the bridge will come first, will be installed at this location because they have some toilet facilities as well, whilst construction goes on for the permanent structures.
And apart from the financial aspect of it, and there's also the creation of job employment for the youth. Would you want to say something on that?
Well, yes, opening up new stations means creating more jobs for people of course, this region. Of course, yes, we can say that again. People will be required, and of course, the Accountant General will, of course, be advised in line with those, the proposal you've just made. Governor's representative is here. I'm sure they will be working with the Accountant General along those lines to see if people from this region can also be hired to take part in this initiative. Yes.
Require a lot of time to erect it?
Well, not really. It's not a very big building. It's just, simple buildings where the facilities would be there. We cannot bring in people here and not provide them with, of course, toilet facilities and other needs. So yes, those would be one of the, but they are not going to be very big buildings. I mean, just simple, where collection can be done comfortably.
Would it be the same for other regions up in the country? Other regions, would they have similar things?
Well, it depends on government policy. I mean, this is for government to decide. I mean, it's not for us to, it's up to government. When they say yes, toll a bridge, that's the approach we are going to take.
So, Didi, how much a vehicle is expected to pay as far as this is concerned?
Well, the tariff is being developed by the Ministry of Transport, and so once it is done, it will be said. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Marco Dall'Acqua. I'm the resident engineer of this project that we have started about 11 months ago. And we have started from this part and we have almost reached at the end, except the swampy area. As you can see from what you have seen from summer to here, the road is almost complete. Remaining just few ancillary work, painting, other things that will be done soon. The story of this project is quite interesting story because we came here and we have made some big change on the original design that was not appropriate for the condition that we have found. Therefore, we have completely changed the design, and especially on the swampy area where there are serious problems. But for this part, for the 19 kilometer, that we have found a better solution, and the road is here, as you can see here. We did as well some parking lane in concrete, other thing. You know, we have improved, but we did something very good together with NRA in particular. We are here, Mr. Bonta, Sengore, and so that we are working together, and we were able to complete about 20 kilometers out of 24 in less than 10 months. That is not a small achievement, but the big achievement has been that we didn't spend any money on relocation of utility because change, but the improvement that we did in Soma and Farafeni, the original design was only for 2-line roads. We have increased to 4, and now that you are going back, you will see what is the situation in Soma and Farafeni. That the traffic is there, a lot of cars, but always there is room to go to. This has been the big achievement that we were able, that it was something that could be achieved only because of the good way to work with the NRA, with the contractor, that I cannot say that is good because otherwise thinking that, but he did his job, I can say. Therefore, you will see that the road is almost completed, except the swampy area that we are waiting for the approval of the addendum. But we plan to finish in the shortest time. If we were going according to the original design, this road today was already completed and open with some months ahead, in half of the time almost. This can be considered a big achievement in the project because normally the project they delay. We were able to, but because of the design, the original design was appropriate for the swampy area. They thought that it was perfect road, but it wasn't like that. We had to change the design and to make some modification. This has comported some problem of money, but the NRA is working to solve the problem with the cooperation of the bank, other things. But we hope that in maybe 5-6 months, if everything will go on the right way, and we will not have too much problem with the rain to complete the project. And I think that this is good achievement.
Yes, Minister, the genesis behind this because it's called the strengthening of the 24-kilometer Trans-Gambia corridor. I think the genesis behind it, by the way, it's being funded by the government of the Gambia and AFD, the African Development Bank. As I said, the genesis behind it was that the bridge is now done, and we know now that traffic is going to increase. It has increased, if I may say. So the genesis behind it is to also strengthen the 24 kilometers so that it will be able to cope with that increase in traffic. And of course, again, it is a regional corridor because this way it leads to Casamance. On the other side, of course, it leads to Dakar. So we are treating it as a regional corridor. This is why, of course, at at certain intervals, we had to interface with our sister authority in Senegal, the Routes Authority of Senegal, Ageroute. The other aspect, as pointed out by the consultant, was we've done the 19 kilometers with overlay to strengthen it. What is left now is for the markings and the signs to come up. You can see we have increased the width of the parking areas on both sides for trucks. This goes to the fact that, that, as I said before, it is a regional corridor, and we will have a lot of trucks, plying this road that we have seen in the statistics already. But then what is left now, it is the swampy area, which is, of course, between Ginoy to the bridge, and, of course, from the bridge to Bereto. That is the section we are dealing with. And as he said, we have come up with innovative ways of engineering that section. We have been to Tobor, if you know, Ziguinchor, to see, because we have similar conditions there. So we have, again, in collaboration with the Ageroute of Senegal, the regional office, and we were able to devise, some engineering sort of solutions, which we want to, of course, replicate in that area, because, as I said, the swampy sections are similar. In fact, Tobor is far more worse. We want to use pavement blocks, like in Tobor, because in some sections of Tobor, those pavement blocks have been there since 1977, and they have, survived the circumstances. So that being the worst area of course, of this route, I think if we replicate that sort of a design in the swampy section of the Transgambia, it would work. And it facilitates maintenance, because pavement blocks, the good thing about pavement block is once they subside, you just remove, redo it again, and put it back. Of course, what we have added to the embankment field were some, geotextiles and geogrids to make sure water moves in parallel across the road without interfering, of course, with the embankment field. So those are some of the additional technologies we have added. But in principle, the technology we have, we're going to use to implement that section is similar to that of Tobo. Yes, because what it requires is flexibility. If you go with pavement with that of asphalt, it will break because the ground is still moving. So asphalt will not survive there, neither will concrete. Because if the ground moves, what tends to happen is that the asphalt would tend to develop some cracks within. So we need something that has some flexibility in it, and pavement blocks is a good example of that sort of a construction. So this is what we want to do. And again, as we said, it's easier to maintain. Because with pavement blocks, if a depression occurs or deflection somewhere on the pavement, you just remove it, redo the survey, and put it back. So, these are the things we were able to, the engineering justification we were able to put together to come up with that sort of a solution. It took some time slightly because we were trying to devise, comparing issues to see, that we come up with something that would be somehow sustainable. Thank you. So we
Good morning, everybody. I am Ken Johnson, the resident engineer for the Kiang West project that that is presently ongoing. The project itself is in 2 phases. The first phase is being implemented, as we see. It's a 12-month. The first phase is taking 12 months. Then we are now in the 9th month, and the second phase will kick off sometime in August for the further 16 months. Because the overall period is 28 months for the roads within the Kiang West. The first phase is from Sankandi to Kalantaba, and the second phase, which is 38 kilometers, covers from Kemoto to Misira, Tankula to Kemoto, and several other roads within the region. So at present, we are having moving towards Kulikunda, that's about Cheneja 13 kilometers, and we are moving on gradually. We're moving on, and the progress so far is now approaching something like an average of about 60% when it comes to the estimated. When I mean estimated in terms of the monetary aspect of it, it's about 60% of the overall cost of the project. And we're hoping that in the next 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, we would have gone much further than this, because as you can see, the rain is fast approaching. In fact, it has started. It's both a blessing for us, because now that we have rain, it means that we can process the base material faster, because it's already damp. But at the same time, if the rain persists and comes with much intensity, it will kind of slow our work, because the moisture contents of the lacerite will be exceeded, and we'll have to slow down until it's dried up. So basically, that's where we are for now, and we are moving. As I said earlier, we have a few challenges though when it comes to the procurement and the transportation of bitumen. I believe we are all aware that the prices of bitumen in the prices of crude material in the international market is changing. In fact, and then some companies, I don't want to name, but it's kind of, they are hoarding the bitumen materials in order to escalate the price, and it's at the detriment of the contractor, but it's slowing the work. Maybe that's a point where in the ministry and the government itself can intervene and do something about it, because if the contractor tendered a price in July of 2021 and in May of 2022, the price is double. That means there will be less production, and this has been one of the main causes of the delay here that we are facing here. But albeit we are moving, it's, as I said, we're moving slow, but I think we are on track to go beyond Mandua by the end of June, which will be a practical completion phase. I think I'll stop so far and then ask if you will kindly ask me some few questions, to which I'm prepared to answer.
So how many kilometers if you combine all the roads that you should construct?
The total length is 87 kilometers. The first phase is 39 kilometers, and the second phase is 38.
So out of this 39, the first phase, how many kilometers have you covered so far?
We have covered up to Kulikunda, that's 13 kilometers, and then we have gone further with up to Mandua, that is 26 kilometers, but it is not yet processed. That's what we're working towards.
And at the end of the day, we do not have some road furniture like drainage system and all those stuff.
Yes, the furniture will have to come much later. I think you drove in from Sankandi to I think now we are pushing Jefferon. So you will see that the double surface layer has been done, and that will be the next logical step to take. Mark the edges of the road, the shoulder, and then we demarcate the center with cat eyes or lines, center lines, skip lines, and all of those things will come later.
You did mention some challenges. How do you intend to overcome those so that you will not be delays?
The challenge is the most important and very serious one is the supply of the bitumen. As you can see, what we are having here will last us for about maybe two or 3 days, and then we'll have to wait until it comes back from Senegal. Now we don't have a time frame from that. You pay for the bitumen, and then you will not get it the time you want it. You'll have to hold on until they supply you, and then you use it. Another reason is that we cannot store it here on site because we don't have the storage that much capacity, and then also you cannot process it on site here because it's also another material. It's mixed with kerosene and it can be explosive sometimes if not handled properly. So they will normally get it the finished product from Senegal, and then we use it directly, mostly for safety reasons as well. As soon as they are supplied, we use it. They supply, we use it. In a day or two, it's exhausted, and then we have to start again the same process again.
Wait. I couldn't get safety measures. You got involved.
Yes, the bill itself takes care of that. We have guardrails, for example. If you go further down, this area we don't have guardrails, but further down where you have culverts, they will be fitted with guardrails. And there will be wood furnitures, center line markings, as I said earlier, wood end markings and things like that. So it's all covered. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. That was the contractors of the Kiang West road. This road is from Sankandi towards Karantaba. You can see the road is divided into two parts. They say the first phase and the second phase. The first phase is 39 kilometers and the second phase is 38 kilometers. So basically, you've heard from them. They talked about some of the challenges they are facing, and also some of the work on that they have covered so far. So as you can see right now, we are at the Sankandi Road from Sankandi towards Kemoto. This is where the Minister Ebrima Sillah visited today to see how far the work is going on. So coming for the wall, coming al nyabara tenyame nyinte menglambe Sankandi le silo membora Sankandi kata fo karantaba Kiang karantaba ma fangla. So nyimusilo time alanko komi ya itande nyame ko ya tala sidla fulalati sidla folo ni wom 39 kilometers le doni is 38 kilometers. So nyimu fena me alanko minister mamon kono kadung afundira kata dal je me alanko alamansa kunda wala Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure ibe do ko kan dalmento findira kata dal ndo jibe ka jibe do ko nyimbe tembe dalmento ko mala bola je kan tendro ambe bola janne mbita dal fana do ngajibe ko bita kan je nyama la baraka bisba.
Kontaneta on behalf of the region, Kajen na region of Konojang, kana such a development visit, me alonko is stake. Wo kamala be banko sefo kontona, be ala alkalolu men be jang be kontona, maflale ko alkalolu, aning VDC modol men be jang, aning Kiang West, la alfalu, maflale ko na honorable minister fele, me na minister fanamba congratulate la on his appointment as the new as the minister for transport. Na lonko President Barrow ay molet dinna me lonko be alon ne ko ay menke information wala be tam amina menke la transport wala be tambila ay menke information bawo handi memma me information membe auto in past 5 years we all know it progress men kraje anu kilingo ndonga lonko abitala 100% transport la carola. Honorable Minister, we congratulate on your appointment and we wish you all the best. Niwo botala, Honorable Minister, abe bankura onola, kafuta dulalto, ne alon komansakunda under the leadership of His Excellency President Adama Barrow, alamansakunda, beloring, menkan hadamadu bela yirwa, farnalu bela. Wo farnalu be Honorable Minister about raunola, kafuta dulalto, même hadama dum la yiriwati inna nyatota honorable minister sa foi ko you convey this message to His Excellency ko Kiang West la road construction tolu the sky is the limit ko le akul me yaron ko in past years nge soto anim bi binabula la men kono hadi mem maf me in silo definitely we have nothing but to thank the government under the leadership of President Barrow na sefo bejang ba malaf ko moy jam fa baake sefo honorable minister fela na la delegation be welcome to Kiang West na faale ko ala baraka be murat sefo kan fanansi lu ndol bismillah ala banko kan
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin tolbe minister mba welcome la jam nga ko men je nyinto sabu ko nena majole me president Barrow fanan tentula ka nyimbondi information ka sambana mola development to ay mola bulala do ko la me alo do ko me bram bulala abake no la le abakeno mota me keno ne abulale ka ni ko ala sotoji ndun data fo nti jobi na la farran ko fo Kenya mol kam bu saw bu sol wala ngalo ngafo president Barrow ate o kala atela fo nye janko yim banku nal bele tamu jant na force development on babe kala jani bila dokol tata bolon ko mol kumbota o dokol da yol tarajele I will la faldo kay complete ala dokko ngo wala mi nyenti a fole ndunga jama bay ba tan kabin to la jang de to la kataraje opposition banko le kabring yim banko dateta kam mol samana mansa kan domande wala o mun dekil nat ndamana so mansa ba al kana nkorosi banko president Barrow tamu amange abekala in 5 years because be la busha Allah next 5 years fana abekala liye yalla nyina ma foloti amang karte fay do mu coalition ala karto mu nyina da abe next 5 years fana kala nso fo mo nyala ni yalo esasi la ko ne kumbo mal tentula mbali jeira ila na jayinya etfa unya in condition fe mandi anteut because nda kundi ngo benye badi ya karod benye badi ya karod ndalo ne adu ngalo mo jamal fana yalo me karafalin Allah ta'ala mo karafalin perdam Barrow akana fen fere akana ko masay insilo san sa men ko fuji ko ya abulale ko ya abulale lungo o ya to every week insi fem folo je fana insabo insi musa sa yin ka ka to yin ka continue hanna to fi role mama bari ni sila ba ngenta continue la futa samala dun ci ta fele bi ji ba yin ket sile ba wur la wala fe va fare ko ate be ko bala dungo kan ju fala na ta silo be lola mal to nay ni delegation bi mal gay le na jak you welcome
barka ba
kontong ngana minister kontong nga deputy governor kontong anun na managing director NRA kontong anin molbe mi mesiloka projet go nying abe face full le kono first phase nying golem kabonang sankandi kata fo 30 ba womu kilometer tan sabaning konon tolete so phase 2 anu adoku wato nying mu sanji kilineti phase 2 nying mu phase 2 wolem silol mi yalon ko ibota men sankandi kadaba silo kan kadung kata joli jali ke moto misira en tankular nyol womu sanji kilinin kari worolete bari woman start follow in phase 1 banta in phase 2 na start doko nying mbakan ne amam pare follow to nyalom bare ikami fo challenges fana wo bijele memu kanying mano soto pour ka doko nying labang bare contrato nying fana ba puskan ne kaje ko aba soto doko nyi eta nyanda tala nyama so now diamo mansi abake bare mbada na woto follow ala barka
thank you Minister comme Georgia fanyami se fo mbe konton ni la molbe minister konton na yolbe Georgia fanyami project manager bole nyam face follow wolo munyin sila bat kat wolo bole dunta Kiang West fulanjang wolo munyin sa telu mini bota nyin silo kata tankular nyolo min tata ñim fishing areas nin kata ke moto ñin joli kadum minister wollo fes fulan jawal because ngajele ninga main highway da ima wol fana link amunta hansa en daso ketar so wala nang wol ke fes fulan jawati pour ninga ñin dom bang wol se dunno e ka fundi bari se connection wol fana ke kamul fana link ke boyla satel do kana sila baka yalo fana ko mayar motol kanano le kadum ni ajube crossement wol le ndulal beto motol kanale mul jindi karje sate jamal to siloka ifangol ya jube bita nyame so wala nangaje ko akuma yata pour nga mol fana sate ko ni silo de da ikale da mol ni wol link satel to dena se fisia wala fana mu development ko di so wala mo isaje sa to school wol sate dol to dinni wol ka boy mula de katawol l'hôpital dol man tra jang dol fana ñing health center dol be sate ngol let so wol be se access no c'est fo wolom simla
Follow mbem fama konton na sefo alaji marin jay anin ala alkalol min bebi jam be deputy governor fana konton na Mr. Dabo ni yalon ka tel marta elarar la tundola na nanyol kono jang na deputy permanent secretary min marta silo la doko wala Kenya la nin technical doko be Ebrima Koli afana bijang ba kontonna anina director mi marta silo la do kol be ko Kenya ka mi ko NRA National Road Authority nali ya moy drong sila do kol la kunya to la fana ka man sakunda ya mare silo nyanta do kula nyamin ani nyanta do kula mun tole ano do kunya al fana nyanta kala nyaadile wala momot sengorti afana ban fe jang anina na nyol be ala director bijang ni journalist wal fana be silo kan ni mo ko tawol min yalon ko nga dol tara jang dol mun tol fanga la ministry bunda do kula leti dol mu contracto la do kula leti dol mu consultant leti se fo nana jang kontanta bake ni benta anila alfalu anin Kiang West nyaton kol dalilo mi yati nan futade jang wolon president barola county pour ka je ko ala do ko masakunda ala do ko be dawda nga futaje nga jibe do pol kenya be nyami mina nyanta la fala je mina mula kola ya kolti mol fana be sulare mina la nyin do pol kono mina mula kumbo dal ti saje ngol be ken sunyo kan sinanga ferel dada ke bambandiku isaje no nyami nyin do pol kana tarde ko ya fa nyami sama fela sita contracto membe silo kan ngabe do ko min ke kan wala nyinti kaba mano kan sila bakan kananan fo da min ya lon ko ye bere fingol mana fingol le kan pour ka je ko ka jebe da nyanta da nyami isaje sama kane tinya yo dulalto min ya lon ko e berol laaje fo sereta tintingol to berol fo tintinta kol fana be denkun ka je ko be bete isaje sama kana wol tinya yo dula dol to bije damin ya lon ko be berol la fa kan kaje ko fana wo do ko e tariya yo bari ko la yado man dingo dol sotota min ya lon ko contracto e fo jang folo ko la folo wala nyinti nyim mana fi mi ya lon ko e ka bon silo kanten aka soto Senegal le to bari Senegal fana be do ko balke ka mankita ñu wato kon wo mana fi dum adana da nyalom ning wo jorangol man soto jang foyta ya bondi banku do kan so betembo min to ngama kilometer mo wanning kilometer mo wande woro damay wala jorang soto jang betembo min so ala de marokan ning ala sonta ba jalal ko ninga do ko ke yetariya e o kilometer mo wande woro be mana isaje no nyami fenkana tinya woto barkeli mana yandi ko masakunda nyi silo mu nyi hataji ku balati bawo kiyankolu ye kata ku balake president Adama Barola election auto 2016 anda kate kiyantula koma anda nin kiyankol bitalale fajannin alabala man saya dan nadami wala atin nan tol fana nata nan ko limane ya bambandali kal nal nga do ko ken se nyomoy fana kola ya bal bulu ngalong isaje no nyami janna do ko se tariya membe silo do ku gana ko ya flanja do fo mi ya lon ko wolon do ku laldi mol min nyanta do ko kel bawo sila do ku amanke ko jorama da malaka mecce do ku ka tarajele sembe do ku fana ka taraje andum nyin contracto nyi Gambia dingolon ala fita min wolon ka Gambia dingol ta ye do ko ke nyi silol kan oto sefo mbo wosie dilela pour sam makoy woto bake inila alfa ka fo molu ani sate alkalol ni la bulundal fondin kel min bi jang imantara do kula isa katay ning contracto e nyomoy isa jeno nyamin silo la do ko secretariat bawo sila do ko mecha façon wala min ba ko ni ngale de ma foy wo mechol soto itana bi kasi ko tek ite katu do ko da malla bawo man sakunda ya ni sanji nano min ni sanji lulo mi yalan kon dunta ko no ten mum man sakunda la hamolete pour ka silo sila kilometer wuli kilen keme fula dada wala mun tolla hamen ko andum pour ko dada wo mi tandi wala nyintim be sula la do ko la baki Gambia funding kel nyanta don nako sila do ko mecho siatan andum ko do min be ka do nyisulol kundo banko la ko dolam mfawala namol anim banko do yan so ko dol minna yande ma demar bal yande ma milto nkolle la nyokam pour kany silol doku tay nimbo doku lam tolbe sulala minna wala nyinti ko nganna banko dingol fango jeje be mun fanka wodlal ben asobul driveful fo attract driveful fo mol min yalon ko wala ka silol suman wol be mu mechol let min yalon ko mechi kala sarim ballom mbela fela ngana funding ke leje ni data bur foot wol dolto bi kombo musol fango be ni wodo ko façon wota manke ko sila do ko kel da maraka musol la fanna bi je funding ke fo form sol min ya lon ko e karam bang wala hani min man karam fa ibe ni soto je andum ni ajibe contracto dol tili wotili ka mol jo dal ci kemelul karo kono ni wala nyokan abita ka nyana wuli tan ni lul mi ya lon ko dam malata mo me so na do ya tan ko wala foy min ya lon ko ka jodo ko ke dol kata fo keme waro la tilo oto Gambia nkolu nsammira bake ko ñikata mol min sayin contractol kam min ka andu janda mantede banko belom ntata Kiang o problème o taraje ntata ñani dia kananan kawurma fang la salum mo problème o tarawo fana nga tara jam fana Gambia funding kelu min yalon ko mbelafla wolye do kol keje wol bi ka son do ko lan kata mol bondina Sénégal ani Guinée Bissau sey ba jala auto man sakunda ka ñim billion jurmol min kafu pour nga na fanko na fala kara kilo be kata banku do la dingol la kan parce que ton la mol fama bi ka do ko auto mbe kilo kala na tan wal samma ko no ngam bulo la ñokan janni la funding ke batara sirin kombo 15 amam me ci soto amam tara do ku fana la je nata nun sambulo la no nyoka mi ngara debi je ngajibe do ko te banna ñu bulu da janni bi tala mol bondi la nam banta ye ñun fondin kel min beje serin ko mata wala be mu gane no la mo bodana mol bodana fa birin gan dana na jankana do ko nsam fa la mol karandi no le wo londol soto ngeen ndi mecho la ñi sila do ko ko ne fa ngay wol oto se fo mbal dan la wala nal sam ma ko no parce que nin ko silo fa nay tariya ado ko e tariya fo mol soto jorangol felelari ko bebi jam bar do bije mo soto kake problème oti oto mbe dani ro kala wala nal sam ma koy no isaje no nyamin nsem fanga la molta e tara nyim projet wol kono e fanga yemu na fayra ko do mimbe soto lay to nyim banko kan banko la yirwa fana kana wala kon arba o siyo meta se fo mbal tento la mbal jeyla bake kay tan yalla ko nyim projet o mun tol fana e big projet leti projet lo mi alon ka yan sula parce que politicien wol dolbe kere wol fana ñim projet o ke politique rawol e ñim do bi je kana ñan jay ka pro e ka natalol tanin anin video kata ka fintindi social media ki yankol baroka ballat lamin do ko lan kale adel aman tara fen do ku kanje ibal ne kan par sa en kuran da ngamra modi ko parce que kuran fu da la de man sakunda fe mo fen faale ni aja manke no salon ko tarde ku bale bo sable mi yalon ko takra parce que ñim manke man sa fana la nafati ye kodo landi ko wala ye kodo bandi ko kono kodo tara la renje man do ko ndol lafta do ko le isaje banko e develop bi la ni ki silol dada min yalon ko tata fo ke moto fo tankulara ni la ko tangol ñemi yalon ka kamuta jaka tinya say wote tinya la iba jela ka sutia marcel lobe kelal mol fana la fanko be yiru wala so wala na lafta pour nal nga mbulo du ñoko no baki na projet kutol min yalon ko bine be kelan do ngata dan na ñi silo damal han ki na kabada ma fana la silo dol bije mbina du nol fana do kol ko no ni ala son data mel bari se min fono wala mi ñinti ala nga katam be ngan tesit nga la ñokan baaw sa ko banku do kol be keri ngani na politiko la min tambita ngalon ko ñim bankon tol da mala ba do kula ba on tol be jam nim mo man de jan tol la danta jan andu fana ka fo koy man quartier fay president Adama Barrow wala tina tay la do do kula hani de president Barrow nata Gambia bele mi quartier fay o mi quartier fay wa be ba tala bankol ko ba hani man quartier fay man say ba wolu akilu min be mol kam min ya lon koy quartier fay man say wolu akilu le be tamale defana kan so don be nga kata dro nga ñomuta nga ñoma koy kaaje ko nganna dulal doku nga kata fanan ka kuma kendo dun na funding kel da ka foy koy batul le kala fen ko langol bari tay mo moje jang ni funding kel min keta banku dol wo me chola ka tina sayin hanna tar nganda projet tol bam bikala fo le sey sa ka mun ta kon tolbe tulam mo le bul doron wol ban to lokol sambala ñe ba kelam faway fe wo fen ni sulata la foyta mo bondina banda andun mo le bi janna min ya lon ko en setano karwo karibe siri fo wala sate to ka wuli tan lul sor won ko di balti natan ni hani katli jo dam malake ka hanna tare ke joti lo dam mal hani wuli lul kata fo wuli tay ka wala sor won ko di balati man sakunda do ku da dol bi jama bi je min ya lon ko kata official tay kana loli ka pasol bondi je luwa so jola wala bi ko soto ite ba tare fa wala sate la to bunjote tarle kan luwa sita tarle kan pasi jote tarle kan bar karwo kari ise ko do soto min siata mombe official oton be killo kelam fangola molla ala nga kata nga ñoo muta nga ñoo ma koy kaaje ko ñum projet tol ngan tesiti kaaje ko eke eta nyanta tala nyami andu ni nata je do ko ke mecho soto jam project do na ko take ibeto metitel tala ko take oto se fo beni la mol dan wala pour al samma koy ni mol bi jamino wolinta min pareta ka do ko ke señol tol sa fe nga jibe projet to be dawda nim fondinkel pareta ka do ko ke janni mi tala mol tala band sam fang la mol tay projet tol do bal kontan na baake bal tentulam bal jayla bawo sio meta ka faale ko han say ala heklo startan kun din sefo ila nyi silo ning ala son insha Allah abe do kula lay bang jannin December karo mba fala nyi nang president bina baro bina la nyi silo jura jang insha Allah
barka bake honorable minister be le ala ko moy nyola mo kende ata jannin be bitimo kum fala jang ministre di amata bari sefo ila permission o ngamen alkalo lu si karanta alkalo o dem ministre dina mu karanta alkalo ti first phase la stopping point lala with permission
alhamdulillah rabbil alamin be musla dawo kondonna memonna commissiona normalan kote abbe jang me ministre kondonna anin silo dogulal kebal men besire ngondanta bi baake pour alena jang kana mbandi kumbalan na silo be nyame kadum to nya adam barolan na kalanda ba ndela fa ko ngana fo dum kay ko be fa na nyale kadum mankato fay ni banko commerce fa aba nyame opposition banko le kabrin jawara bota janyi mol men be je kala fi man sala ko tak ani ya jama si le jan sanji mo ne ko ibu kala fa ndi amude mbatale man so dila adam baro na dan way ko hani sile do be juma la fa adu be la fin silo e da bar opposition ya fa njaw ya ta bakale dumo do isa mo do ba ko nyin si ba te da ni ba da ndaka men fo wallahi ka ko mun ni man sai kuma fo hani mo do na kuma fo kai do la alkala ko alama yake ni ka udwa wala be dal ina ka ko ate nola adun kon danda baake kabrin silo darda woni mbi tema ndol be ni ma real ne ko kayro baro be yin silo de dala o be ndi ma real ndol ma ko kayro baro be silo de dala ya gel kadun ni botina sankande wotumo ni bi da kan da be silo sankande wotulo e boy wala ko ne bina ta kono adun han sa be nyama ni mo dol bodan to la tema ko la tala nani sile ede mo rasulullah ko ibadu lagge ni sa wala ka ken dolla ndol be jara bol ko no jang bar opposition lu ma wolon aka mun ge dol fe ko hani ate kenola adu sile nya fana ya jelo ka ba kenola ndesana ko dol be yanka men fa yanka fa ni ngasilo be ibukala ala ni biro ko no yega ni be ramano me yenata ndolo fa nga fa ibe bulal ibe ta ni biro ko no la yega ni bulal sangal yena bula mo dola yega ngawla fa adum be ko dal nim baake kabri na jam kunun tol na jam donc man ke bari man ke bi fana mutana adum jannin tol ya jam fata nyola jam fata nyola ban hanu wakil dan na ya jel adum be duwala fana fo yimma sakunda alsa sabatinde ko me tambere ndamando odo o keda e coalition man sakunda silan nemo adam bolo ala man sakunda loni odo sile ga fo men ko sanjita odo sila sanjilul be du dai jelo karo wodo ko ali so ma sakunda ya ya wodo sanji lul do wodo dai jele adu ni ana sonda hanu wata be kanyela bad ni to liane kana fa ay kadun dol der man sa sindi nola de man sakondi no ya wes hani yum kumandam banko be de man sakondi no adu nana be man sakongo ngai dali lam ko kumandam banko abe har jow fudin dan lay kumandam banko bari yum kumandam banko fana asata wol be har banko be har jow fudin ya wes kadun dol ko fata man sala ni ko fata man sala ida har jowla sidira ya je ngafo kalan da balen ka ko kian jang har jowla sidira ika ko fata man sala har je sitolam president fula be na banko kan sanji mo ne woro le ko fata wol be le be kala nyaati ida la fina mola comme ministre mbal tan mbal jayila mbal kondona ngondanda bake adi nyislo alama e ban sone yakono alkana ko ni maje sanza ni sanjola cho ika wuliya fo mole ka ko sila mo rol be ka tutu silo la ka ni ndai ko silo mo sonna be ka je mo rol be ka tutu je ni avon hinni ni bina alkalo jalla ko ga opposition ja ya ba ke ika fo mole ko mo rol ka tutu le wodi mo malo ko sanjola bina nyonyo wato ni ale be sanne kala je tukare almande mala do almande mala do wala mun te kuma men so non sa ko wala mo allen bala
duar yon do fanga par play le price to den be ko ne on tan Omar Zamati MPP la region chairman mbesi njara soba bari mo Kiang West on front nga par play le pour une silo la soto nya kadum walso de non ena be ko be prove la akina bulni ku ya bald non le fam punu la nga mol mo bi atara fo pama secretary kanefin wolo ni ku ya bald bo nyewolo akenga kuma comment raje barbiri mbori mu nyay ko ni new ni ku am bo ne na da kata ko ka ko be so nyokan fo ala ke ko yin kimata oto me kontan ne mbake bi kay gon dol fa no kata gunni mo ala e dan ko male man say dan ko ma adu man say su del fa na kaje ko na sulo ment mbadi Kiang ko ko men ngani ko green so jakko rege ko men do kula la karo ka fo mo lu son do kula la e man do kula so no jam ko en ni ko ya bak ko mba mo fo le jambi ba ni mbo jam fa na bitu ten mbe fero be ka ko ngadi amu le ko rege fo ni jole men dal ko fus na ka fo no do kula ma kay do ko bi ko le bak mo bulo ko fo ni jole la mar la nya ngabna man sa fambe karakel ka kodol fale mo ko ro sona mo nyame na o kamala na dia mo jam bakere no na me kontan ne nyame asembo wata ni ko kontan ni ko dia ban to ni ka tan no fale dum mala fi ngata na ko bade na kontan bunda si wotandi masa kundala honorable minister be samla la person ka ko reke isaba ko be kontan na kontan no alma ala la bandi kuke minu fan desda min mom be second phase ko no fo ala silo flambe afutan no nyame sida dogula ato fana be nyomo ni mbor jang na di nyomo no ngaji be ko kire nyame o manke problème de kala baraka baraka thank you very much.
Seen behind us and in front of us is work being done by NRA itself. If you remember, some of you must have used this road before, and you must have seen what the big trucks have done to the asphalt pavement here because of the checkpoint, the military checkpoint. What happens is that bitumen being an elastic material, when heavy trucks stopped, when they stop at the checkpoint where the soldiers are, it sort of accumulates the surface and the material sort of bulks in one area, thereby affecting the riding quality of the road. So NRA decides to cut it out and, of course, use concrete here so that that effect would be eliminated. Once vehicles stop now on concrete, that sort of effect will not replicate itself. In fact, this is what I don't know whether you've taken notice. This is what they normally do at the toll where we went yesterday. If you have observed, this is the sort of structure we have there. The other issue effect is where vehicles normally stop, there is some form of leakage from, some vehicles have leaking tanks and some have, other discharges. Bitumen being a hydrocarbon also reacts to some of these things. If you pour a lot of kerosene or, of course, diesel oil on bitumen, it sort of deteriorates gradually. So there are different effects to that. So this is why we've decided to put reinforced concrete pavements in this area so that would not happen. And the road, of course, the quality of the road will also last for long. And as I said, the riding quality will also be enhanced. And again, it will be a very good surface for the people also manning the checkpoint. That's the soldiers here. So this is what we have. As I said, this is being done by NRA through our own force account. The team you've seen here working are the team from Bakau. We have a division in Bakau opposite the petrol station, the Ariad. So those are the people we've brought here to deal with some issues like this. They are not only here, they are in other areas in Brusubi. You must have seen them in other areas along the greater Banjul area, patching potholes as well. And so this is all part of geared towards, of course, sustainable road maintenance, as I can say. Thank you. Well, I cannot remember offhand, but normally what we do, the reason why we do is we compare the cost as if compared to when it is given to a contractor. So not doing it in-house is far more cheaper than contracting out. So the works of this nature, we also empower our own people and try to cut costs. They'll also be motivated, while at the same time we reduce the cost of the operation itself. So I cannot remember the cost overhead, but normally what we do, works of this nature, we compare the cost, if it is done by NRA itself, and compare it when it is contracted out. So normally it comes out that doing it through force accounts is far more cheaper. But again, we don't want to get in the way of contractors. NRA is one institution that also promotes the participation of the private sector. So we are not getting in their way. This is why we don't go full-fledged. If you look at this, it's barely less than 400 meters, but normally stretches spanning beyond half a kilometer, going to 1 meter, we tend to contract out and supervise ourselves. Remember, contractors also pay taxes to operate in this country. Oh, exactly. Then they employ Gambians, so we don't want to get in their way. So we work alongside with them to make sure, road maintenance takes the shape it's supposed to take in this country.
And in terms of durability, how are concrete roads, are they durable?
Well, reinforced concrete, yes, it takes. Look at it. This is almost 20 centimeters thick, and it has steel inside. So this is why it's called reinforced. It is reinforced with steel. Concrete is good it's poor in tension, but very strong in compression. So this is far more durable than, of course, bituminous pavement. Yes.
Can the same method be applied to other roads in order to avoid the same situation that happened?
Of course, if we visited the Banjul roads and it's all reinforced concrete. Okay. Yes, it's also applicable to certain roads. In fact, we are doing some roads in Serekunda, from Kolongba Road to Bakote Silo to Safidin. It's all reinforced concrete. Yes. Normally in Lamin, we apply this sort of a design in areas where the drainage is very poor, where bituminous surfaces would really survive with a lot of challenge. But concrete loves water, so even it acts as a drain in most areas. As a road in Bakau, we build a concrete. What we did in Bakau, the one running from the Atlas petrol station going to Cape Point. What we did there in Dankung Street, we paved it and we sort of cambered it in the middle. So it's a road and at the same time a drain. in Bakau. So when it rains, all that water accumulates in the middle and just flow into the swamps.
Buffer zone as well.
In buffer zone as well. So it serves as a dual purpose in most of the case. A road and at the same time a drain.
Do you know how long this is going to take?
Well, in a week we should be out of here. I mean, they've been here for a week. On the other side, yes. The other side as well, yes. So they want to close this up today, and tomorrow, maybe on Monday, they will start on the other side, with the other side. But in a week, they should be done with here, yes. Because we also give them timeline, that you have to do this within this, sort of period. We just don't bring them here and say, go and, so we give them timelines, and the contractor, the engineer responsible, it's held responsible. Say you're supposed to do this within this time frame. Yes.
So given the contractor you work for, will that affect their wages?
Well, yes, you have to be fair to people. When you bring them out here, you pay them, night allowances because they sleep out, they've left their families. So really, we pay them some allowances too, for upkeeping whilst they're here.
So do you want to give us an overview here?
Yeah, okay. Okay. All right.
I thought we were going to do that in Jambur, Farato Road.
I think Jambur, done by NRA. You see, all these big projects we've visited, most of them are direct funding from the central government. But NRA also most of the projects we visited, the Kiang, the North Bank roads, the Nyomi Hakalan, these are funding from the central government. But you know where we slept, where your hotel is? Kutas, that new road, going and also coming to Soma, where the road we took coming to Soma, that is built by NRA through the road fund. That is the road fund. This is the fuel levy, contribution to the road fund that comes to NRA. This is what we use to build that. Even most of these works are funded through the road fund and not from the consolidated fund as compared to some of the roads we've seen. Okay? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
The last leg of our tour, as you know, when we stopped at, what's the place called? The Kalaji Bridge. I also showed you what NRA was doing in terms of road maintenance using funds from the road fund. This is another one. This is coming from the road fund proceeds. Under normal circumstances, what we should have been doing with the road fund is to maintain infrastructures that have been done, like some of the roads we've seen, the Basse Road, the Farafenye Road, to make sure they're looked after, to allow them deteriorating to a point whereby it would warrant a reconstruction of the road. But notwithstanding, with the fund, we also construct new roads of smaller lengths. This road, in particular, is about 5.2 kilometers. So it's not a very long road. So we use the road fund as well also to construct roads of this nature from scratch all the way to, of course, bituminous standard, to facilitate movement within communities for people like we are doing here. This road starts from Farato all the way to Jambur. You see the intersection of the Sukuta Jambanjeli Road. It's just, as I said, to create accessibility for people in clusters within the combos and other areas like this. On my right here is the senior maintenance manager of the National Roads Authority. He is the one responsible for all road maintenance activities of this nature. So I'll now give him the floor to shed light on this particular project. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome you all to the Farato Jambur. Sorry. Farata Jambur Road project. It's part of the 2020. My name is Anthony Keda. Sorry about that. I'm the Senior Operations Safety Manager of the National Roads Authority. Thank you all and welcome to the Farata Jambur Road project. It's part of the 2020-2021 road maintenance project awarded to H Group. And it includes Farata Jambur. We have the Combo coastal shoulders from Brufut going towards Tujaren. And we also have the Gabajahumpa sidewalk or walkways. So the Farata Jambur is about 5.2 kilometers in length. And the scope of the works includes preparation of the sub-base, adding material for the base course, and also sealing works with some drainage facilities within the settlements. It was a long 1 year project, but however, during the process, we've encountered some delays, warranting it to go beyond its contractual period. Yeah, the reason for most of the delays was during our routine testing, we found out that our base course material was not appropriate, and we need to improve on it. So to improve on it, we decided on using the cement stabilized base course, which means adding a certain percentage of cement to the base, at least to improve its load bearing capacity. So that was a key factor, resulting in major delay in the execution of this project. So far, we've almost completed the artworks. We're done with the base course. We've also done the priming, which is serving as a bonding the laterite base course that we've already had in ground. So what is left is to apply the double sealing chip seal. So hopefully, if all goes normal, within 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we should be able to complete this Farata Jambur road. So I'll allow the contractor also to set on light on the challenges he encountered during the execution of the works.
Well, before he goes to the contractor, I'll come in a bit. He mentioned some of the, part of the scope. What he's left out is some of the drainage system. This is an urban setup. And you can see the level, the reason why we didn't go very high, flooding. So we are going to have side drains within this vicinity here to, of course, convey storm water. By that I mean the rainwater to, of course, acceptable distances away from the settlement. Because it's one thing to build roads and it's another thing to allow the water to settle within their properties. So we try to avoid that. So we've selected critical areas along this road. In fact, if we go towards Farato, we would see sections of the road. What's the length where we've concreted? 700 meters. 700 meters where we have concreted. The reason being that it's so tight and the properties are very close to, of course, the road edge. So we were left with no other option but to use concrete pavement within those roads. Just like I told you in Kalaji, it will act as a as well as a drainage system to carry water without interfering with the integrity of the road. So we've done that. We have also, what you've seen, the holes behind us, is also a protective cap. Because what tends to happen, if you don't put these caps, if heavy vehicles drive on the edge of it breaks. So we are putting concrete caps on the sides of on both sides of the road to, to improve the stability of course, applying vehicles as part of, their reaction to the road infrastructure. So that also helps. In terms of drainage, it helps. In terms of keeping the, the road together, it also helps. And really, it's also one of the things we are also doing here. Okay. The contract has delayed. He mentioned reasons to do with, of course, the stabilization of the material. It's again the same scenario like we had in Hakalang. Most of the quarries here are depleted. So really, if the materials we are extracting from these quarries have lower strength compared to what is in our specification. So we were left with no other option but, of course, to strengthen those materials to be able to, for them to be able to satisfy our, the requirements of our specification. And one method we've applied here is cement stabilization. You remember in Hakalang we were talking of sand stabilization. So you can use either way, depending on the property of the material. So here, this is why you see it's intact. A layman would think the road is done and ready when it's not. So, and we still have the same layer, like we saw in Sankandi, the 2-layer double seal surfacing, which is coming on top of the road as, of course, as the wearing course. So this is what we have for now, and we're hoping, as promised by the contractor, we'll hear from him very soon, that within 3 weeks, he would be done with the surfacing so that we can allow vehicles to use the road. Because when it rains, diversions becomes very problematic for drivers. So really, Tony, you have to do everything it takes to make sure this is done.
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Please.
My name is Tony Al-Haj from Haj Group Company, the owner. I'm the contractor here. So hopefully by 2-3 weeks, that route we'll open it and everything will be fine. And we make the double sealing and we work in the drain system. And by next month, everything will be ready.
To provide, if you can shed light on the challenges that you've been facing or the constraints.
Sorry?
If you can shed light.
The problems.
The reason why
yes.
we're having this delay or experiencing
about the delay here about the route, because in our contract we don't have this stabilization of cements. So they added in this route because the material of the quarry is no good. So that one is cost us around maybe 4 months to 3 months to find the machines to come to make the stabilization of the cement here. That's why we delayed in this route. But now already we make it and we done it. So now we get all the materials and the prime and everything. So by next week we start to make the ceiling and we start to finish it.
Okay. Unlike other projects, bigger projects like the Sankandi we saw this morning, we have hired a consultant to be there on our behalf. But for this particular project, as I said, comparatively smaller. So we are supervising it directly, NRA. Some of our staff are here. Tony is the project manager for this and other maintenance projects. We have our material people. Esa is the head of the laboratory. Bunya is there, as you know, some of the foremen. Malik also. They are all supervisors from the NRA working with the contractor to make sure that quality is assured. Because that is our main thing.
Is it lot 1 and lot 2? I think this
this is lot 1.
This is lot 1, yes.
So the other lot will also.
Yeah, we have 3 lots in the 2020.
Yes.
In the maintenance program. 2020-21 maintenance program.
Yes.
You have lot 1, lot 2, and lot 3. So lot 3, I think you already have visited it. There is
the one we drove on this morning.
And then we have the other road, which is in Kerawan Jawara.
Yes.
And the sectional maintenance of the
yesterday when we got to Bambakolong, if you know the road, it used to be a bumpy ride. But we have rehabilitated sections of, and of course, somewhere around Kudang. Yes, the swampy area along Kudang, we've done some stretches there. Kilometers, about 5 kilometers in total, I think.
5 kilometers.
Yes, of the main highway. So those are done now. So these are the ones now we have to.
No, periodic.
No, this is periodic. Routine maintenance is
done by
the patching of the porthole. Like the guys we saw there, they also have tractors going around to fill potholes and other works. So that's what we call routine. This is periodic. It's slightly bigger than routine. Routine means the daily activities, you know. Okay.
You see something on the other part of the road we want to do. It's around the Sarikina Bali and then whatever. Is it this year?
Yes, we've also signed contracts in March for the construction of the Bani Sali Kenyan Jama Kunda route, which is in Badibu, and also the construction of the Brufut, Mariana, Banyakang to Kunkujang Mariama.
Yes.
So all those contracts were signed in March. Currently, contractors have started working on their survey works. Hopefully, before the rains intensify, I think works will start in earnestly.
How about the maintenance work along this road? When do you intend to do it?
Okay, I've forgot to mention, we've also signed a contract for the maintenance of the Somobase Highway from Kudang going towards Bansang. So we intend to put another layer of or double surface dressing. So the contract has already been signed in March. The contractors also mobilizing the basalt aggregates to start working on the ceiling works. Yes.
That goes to what I said before. Our role is to make sure where we see problems on the trunk roads, secondary roads, tertiary roads, we take action before it's too late, because otherwise it becomes too expensive for government to start from scratch and rebuild the road. So this is what maintenance is all about. It's called proactive maintenance. And, you do it at the right time to avoid, spending more money. If you defer it, because the more you defer it, the more it deteriorates, and the more you're going to spend, to rehabilitate in the state. So we do it on routine basis, periodically, and periodically we take longer sections, like we are doing. We are sealing about 50 kilometers, 60 kilometers of the Somabase road sections of it, where we've seen, problems developing before it goes too far. We better do something now, and rather than now.
The swampy area there.
Well, it's somewhere.
From Kudang. We stopped last year.
Yes.
Up to Bansang.
Kudong to Yorobawal, the YBK end. Yes.
So I have just one question. For NRA, we've seen a lot of roads being built and all that, but also we've seen the increase of accidents, especially this year. It's been really, really hectic, especially around the Foni area, going towards the provinces. Did you also put some things in place, or precautions to avoid those accidents from happening?
Yes, true.
Just to reduce it.
Very good point. Road safety is multi-sectoral. Let me start with it. We have our role to take care of the road infrastructure. You have the police to take care of course, enforcement and others. And you have the drivers' union and all, with all their drivers and vehicles. But at our level, we have what we call the road safety committee at the level of the ministry. It's headed by the ministry, which we are, of course, part of. And what we do, we carry out interventions, as you said. For NRA, we do speed humps. You've seen speed humps, all over the places we've been to. Most of them were erected by NRA. We can't put them everywhere, but at strategic points. And for now, what we're trying to do is to target busy school zones, markets, and hospitals, where the tendency of people crossing the roads are high. It's very high. So those are the initiatives. But if you go to the villages, they want it before and after every village, which cannot happen. These are some of the things we have to look at, because we have to be professional in the way we do things as well. So really, it's difficult. So this is it. We make sure when signboards are removed, they are replaced. As we speak, we've ordered over 170 something new signboards ready to be, erected on the road network. And of course, we collaborated with the police. Together, NRA and the ministry gave the police two strong station wagons recently, for enforcers, to strengthen their ability to enforce on the road. So these are some of the efforts we have. But really, as far as the engineering is concerned, it is the NRA who's responsible. But as I said, it's multi-sectoral. You have engineering, you have enforcement, and you have the way driver's license are issued, and
Exactly. So that's the point, because I've spoken to the police also with regards to this.
Yes.
Because it was at the time it was really alarming.
Yes.
And then I just wanted to understand the collaboration between the parties involved.
No. Yeah. I'm so government is listening. I'm so collaboratively some rightful decision will be taken eventually. But these are some of the issues we are dealing with, hope, and I think it's getting better now. For now, that was just a seasonal sort of thing, but we hope the trend would come down, and our roads will be one of the safest roads in Africa. Thank you.
Members of the media, we've now come to the end of our 6-day intensive tour of projects being initiated by the ministry or supervised by the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure. As you know, we started our tour in the capital, Banjul, where we visited a number of sites, including the mausoleum being built in honor of our late president, His Excellency Dawda Kairaba Jawara. Then we visited the Banjul roads, and then the Gambia Ports Authority, the ferry services, and then the shipyard, and then also the 50 kilometers road network that is being built in preparation for the OIC summit to be held in the Gambia later this year. We also visited the Battle Harden Highway, which is a 6-lane road, modern road being built by the government of the Gambia through support from our bilateral partners. We also visited the VVIP being built in preparation for the OIC and the Gambia Civil and Aviation Authority. And then also we went to Brikama to actually look at the almost completed work on the new market that was actually gutted by fire in 2020, and now it is almost completed. The contractor will hand over to the government very soon. And the infamous fish market of the Brikama market, where the situation is still very deplorable. But thankfully, the NRA, the governor's office, the Brikama Area Council, the market committee, and the critical stakeholders, the NDMA, the disaster agency, and the National Environment Agency, these are regional offices in the West Coast region, we've collaborated, and the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure to come up with a lasting solution. And I can report that the technical committee has held 2 different meetings. They've now come up with a final detail of the scope of work, which will commence contingent on the cooperation that we receive from the market women to actually move them from the site for at least a period of 1 or 2 weeks to completely deal with the situation at that place. Then we went to the NBR, the North Bank region, where we visited the Hakalang and also the Lot 2, which goes to Sabak Sanjal. Lot 1 and 2, actually, which actually cuts from Sabak Sanjal all the way to the other end, Bambali. And then we went to the CRR, where we visited the Salums and also Njen Sanjal, Ker Ulde, Kaur Dimbala, and other places to look at the ongoing road infrastructure projects. Then we came back to the URR, where we went through to look at the toll bridges and the completed roads. We also visited the office and the residence of the North Bank governor, which the ministry actually fully built. Then we went to the LRR, to the Kiangs, and then came back into the West Coast region again, where we stopped by the ongoing work that is actually happening right now at the Bremen Bridge in Kalaji, and then finally to here in Jambur, where the NRA is actually doing this work for the 5.2 kilometers linking Jambur, Farato, and the satellite communities here. Overall, I want to register my sincere gratitude to the regional governors and the local structures, the chiefs, the Alkalolu, the community and opinion leaders, and the religious leaders for the support that they gave to me and my team that actually visited all these regions and places. We are very upbeat about the level of work that we have seen in different parts of the country. I think there is now renewed commitment from the side of both the contractors and also the consultants to ensure that we double our efforts to meet target, but also target that is sufficient to our standards and also the quality needed. And that we have made extremely very clear to all the contractors. In some places, we are not very happy with what we have seen in terms of progress. I mean, some of them are below 50% for works that should have already been delivered.
But that apart is not necessarily that they are at fault 100%. There are issues also that we, the government, actually needs to resolve, especially, the issues surrounding the controversies that have to deal with land compensation, and also resolving community dispute over where we should pass through as road constructions progress. Also, in some areas, we have social services, social amenities like water pipes, and also electricity, as well as telecommunication cables. And moving these services from the way of the construction works is actually very challenging, because in most cases, these institutions, NAWEC, GAMTEL, and the rest, really don't have the site maps of the infrastructure that they laid under the ground. So it takes a tedious job to ensure that some of those services are treated with caution, so that we don't cause absolute destruction, and obstruction to their availability in the local communities. In some areas, we have seen the late mobilization of equipment to the construction site, to the fact that they've altered the very essence of the start of the contract period. But we are putting pressure on the contractors and the consultants, and as we made it very clear to all contractors that we are not going to accept substandard work. I mean, if we give you money for a specific standard, make sure that these standards are met, because the roads will be audited. And we don't want, following audits, unnecessary queries are raised about things that should have been done and they are not done by contractors. If contractors that willingly neglect, to the point that, they rush and then they hand over substandard work, which I'm sure the NRA and the consultants will not accept. But in case that happens and it comes out, in the audit reports, of course, government will take action. And we hope to organize a meeting with all the contractors and the consultants to, put to them our new roadmap and strategy. And this will also ensure that, talking to each other frankly, we went around, we observed everything, we've looked at everything, we'll review a whole lot of things, and course correction will happen in some areas. Action, of course, will be taken in some areas, immediate action. And also in some areas, definitely we will have no choice but to commend some of the contractors, because quite a number of them are doing a remarkable job. Those that have issues will have to double up, will have to step up, and then ensure that they meet their contractual obligation to the government. On our side also, contractors have also explained late payments to them, by the government. So we will take up this with the Ministry of Finance, so that in as much as we want contracts to be delivered on time, we also ensure that the contractors are paid so that they can deliver this wonderful piece of infrastructure works, to us on time and on budget. So I want to thank everybody, my team, the DG, the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Mr. Ibukoli. He's there, in dark glass, always quiet, don't want to be seen. He pretends to be shy, but I guess, you all have seen he's not that. Our DG, Mr. Sengor, and his staff, Jata, Chapman, tall guy, always standing at the back, but he's looking over all of us, Madame Dur, and Marlouise, Mariam Fofana, and also our PAS, from the ministry, the media. We thank all of you for, and also Jajusi is there, You know, they are all young engineers who have been accompanying us. We thank all of you, especially the media. I mean, I have had, having more than 100 calls from all over the country about our tour. I've not had the opportunity to watch all of them. I have watched GRTS, I think, twice. But thank you so much, the media, for accompanying us. It has not been very easy, 6 days. Sometimes we start very, very early and arrive home very late. I think yesterday it was, 9 o'clock, and it was raining heavily. But it was all worth it. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for your individual and collective sacrifices and commitment. We hope to continue this collaboration, and we hope to also continue the collaboration with the contractors. As the DG said in Kalaji, the government wants to encourage private sector participation in the road infrastructure work, so that you know, we can easily and expeditiously achieve our targets. So thank you all, and hope to see you not very soon, but maybe in the next 2 months, when we will have to do, I mean, another mini tour to look at progress of some of the roads that we visited. Thank you. This includes the Sankandi Road, the Kiang Road, Hakalang, the Jambur here, the North Bank roads actually, and also the Salum, and also, yes, all the CRR roads actually, that one, and also Banjul. These are 100% funded by the Gambia government. We have also some of the roads that actually the partners are supporting us. This include the Battle Hardin. Some of them are loans, some of them are grants. We are also doing the 50 kilometers of the OIC roads, which actually are funded by the Saudi government and other international and bilateral partners of the Gambia government. So all in all, it's a mix. But most of the provincial roads actually are being built by the Gambia government, except for the completed Basse Roads and Bridges project, which actually was funded by the Chinese government. Transgambia to its ADB. Yeah, the Transgambia corridor, I mean, the maintenance of it, that one, the ADB, the African Development Bank, is supporting us in that.
Are you aware of the flooding yesterday of the newly
Basse?
Bridge?
Yes, I was aware, but what happened was that the water was coming from the Casamas, you know, end, and then it was coming with ferocity, and the culvert that was there actually was said to be small, but the engineers will go there and check what actually is the problem. Okay. Yes. No, I mean, yeah, but you see, sometimes these floods come with a lot of
water.
No,
we are on the, in the middle of the road. I mean, on our journey, when the rain started late at night, and all of you were there. I mean, we even had to stop for nearly 20-30 minutes, and the rains were very heavy. These roads were just handed over. They were not proof tested, for the rainy season. So these are actually normal in architectural and design works. When you do that, then there are certain improvements that you can do. There is no I mean infrastructure that is 100% full blown proven to weather and also climatic issues. They can wear, they can tear, they can cause issues, but what is important is that at least we have a dedicated core team there. The Chinese construction company that built that road, actually they are going to be there for the next 2 years, and the reason for that is situations like this. If a major problem like this happens, so they will go and look at it and improve on the situation without having to alter the designs. Yes. Yes. So that's the defect level work that will be done. So by and large, let me say that the work done in Basse was
a standard job by the Chinese company. The level of water that we saw coming from the Wellengara Casamas end was huge. And this is not a major issue. I mean, it is something that the Chinese construction company will definitely resolve. Yeah.
Just one question on the more roads on that.
He wants to build at least 1,200 kilometers of roads. So you can see the magnitude of work that we have, and that is why we call on all to put our hands on deck to work as a team to support the government's initiative to double our efforts to ensure that we do everything possible to meet this target, and even where possible, to surpass it. It is possible because if we short of a lack of equipment on the ground and the time it takes to mobilize, government is looking at ways to have hiring plants, and equipment here in the Gambia, leasing equipment companies, so that when we want to work and we give contract to construction companies, if they don't have all the equipment in the country, they can go and lease, or the equipment can be leased to them, and then they can easily mobilize to site. So that will definitely reduce the time it takes, and it can also reduce the cost associated with mobilization.
city maam tam nuñ weer nga mu liggéey bi dafa métti ku ne xam na ne liggéey bi dafa métti biin journalism bi biin caméra yi ak ñuy def geographic design graphic design loolu yëpp dafa métti léegi nag su ko defee rek tey nag dañ ñëw rek fas yéene bégal suñ bopp ak gis ngeen xale yi nuñ toogee ñëpp a ngi sanse ñëpp a ngi naay ataaya yaa ngi dañ ko def comme doxi mbedd rek ataaya yaa ngi tegee xale yëpp a ngi sanse affaire yaa ngi nice tey nag ñin la Gambian Talents Promotion seen boss mu ne seen liggéey rafet na moo taxit tey nag mu fas yéene